one. We are live.
What up, people?
And that was
from the hills.
That was the last time I ate pussy in a dumpster.
Wait, what?
Unbelievable.
What?
Why do you tolerate that kind of stuff, Sherm? Do
I
not enter,
don't know.
Sherm. Do not enter. Remember that. Do not enter.
See, y'all the nasty motherfuckers that justify eating pussy by saying it's like 24 essential amino acids and vitamins and minerals in that motherfucker.
Omega
right
3.
now in California, ain't nobody eating nothing.
Slap it, twat.
Just
Nope,
it's
because
just,
of that Roni, boy. They got that Roni. Yeah.
It's just
that damn running.
it's just total fucking.
She just took an L.
I don't know.
Which,
It's there's a strange feeling in the air here, so I don't know how. Like, how are things on your end, Double I?
you got your fair share of like Roni families.
Yeah.
The roaming Ronies.
Yeah.
Romies trying to take dogs into no dog areas.
Yeah. They got that Roni.
Dude, literally, we were sitting in front of the trailhead here, about to go on our hike, and the hike is about 4 miles in, 4 miles out, right? So 8-mile hike. The trailhead is clearly marked. No dogs allowed. Citation, number and everything like that. No vehicles allowed. Blah blah blah. Beyond this point, and here's, thoughts trying to hide their dogs inside of their fucking bags as they go through the entrance. And then, you want to do the segue? Yeah, jump it out.
See, that's been the
Yeah, I'm
kind
gonna
of
jump on the
like
segue.
the problem with all this coronavirus craziness is that although it's not insane everywhere, there are certain places where there are legitimate people fighting over tissue paper, and it's like, in a time like this, you guys want to choose like in a time like this is a time where you want to kind of look at the things that we take for granted every single day, because right now what I'm facing is like shit that I've seen in movies. Like, how the little European boys playing Voltron on his front porch, and then all of a sudden you hear the planes, and then you hear the marching in the streets, and the Sieg Heil der Bosse. That's kind of how it feels. It's like it's a strange calming before the storm, even though we're in the midst of it. But it's like, to me, and this is just my opinion, but what they're trying to do is just, it's overblown for this quote unquote virus. It's just blown out of proportion. It really is. First and foremost, I live in a state where they say that HIV is a misdemeanor if you spread it willingly. So now all of a sudden you care about me? Hey, get the hell out of here.
Yam just took off my.
It's even worse because it's that Roni now.
He just took my segue.
Your segue gone, Negro.
This guy just seg-jacked me.
Seg-jacked you.
Look at him.
I don't know. I don't really agree with that. I think they're taking it pretty serious, man. I had my initial reservations about it, but due to the response that I'm seeing, and I think it's something. I'm starting. Whether or not it's serious, only time will tell. But people are definitely taking it serious.
Not everybody. The millennials aren't taking it seriously. They're still out there spring breaking and shit. Like it ain't. They can't die and shit.
Yeah, don't wear out my battery on that hill.
Copy.
Well, I'm
the
not
Gen
saying
Zers,
that...
like the kids are actually adapting to it pretty well. Like I think they're going to be much more like when they have the parents telling them what to do. That shelter is actually a good learning experience for them to learn how to be like avoid people, avoid always sanitize after certain surfaces and stuff. And the hysteria hasn't really gotten that bad.
No, it's. I think a lot of it is media panic and a lot of people not being calm in the midst of all this. Like when I go outside, for the most part, it is pretty normal. Besides these non-essential places that have a lot of people, and if that's what we have to do in order to curve this virus or whatnot, then let's do what we have to do. I just think we're taking it too far in some areas. And that's just my personal belief.
Well, we're giving too much away. We're definitely giving too much of ourselves away to this craze, and it's gonna leave a lot of people destitute.
And I don't want to get into conspiracies, but dude, it's either this virus or it's the conspiracies, and it's like that's all there is. And you hear the crazy shit that's like I don't even want to say on here because I definitely don't want to be responsible for adding to any bullshit. It's just that it's strange to see your government respond the way that they have. And don't get me wrong, they've been kind of calm in the sense, but at the same time, it's like you could tell that there's something else besides maybe this virus is just just the smoke screen behind what the fuck is really going on. But at the same time, I don't know, because again, that would be adding to the conspiracies. But at the same time, how long can we just stay coped up in the house? Because people are gonna lose their fucking minds regardless.
Yeah. I mean, not a lot of us are really aware of the truth about the situation, so it's kind of like it's gonna be like another 9/11 situation.
Yeah, it is pretty much.
People are now going to go along with the status quo, and they're going to simp for the system and be like, "Oh, well, we should do this because you should take this more seriously." Sherm, I'm already getting for laughing and making jokes about this stuff. It's like people want us to die all serious.
Social distancing.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm getting that feel of. I'm getting that 9/11 feel where it's like, oh, don't joke about the troops or don't joke about the war, or it's like.
Don't say Roni. That's bullshit. Gotta say Roni.
Or don't if you sneeze around someone, they look at you funny. It's like getting to that part. And my concern is that it could be a number of things. Again, I'm not trying to add, but if you look up, a large majority of the CEOs did kind of step down conveniently right before all this happened. And then you also have those 4 senators who are doing insider trading now. Is this all a big deal? Because it kind of happens a lot, actually. The passing of power and the moving and mergers of this. But you hear it everywhere. These rich billionaires fleeing to New Zealand or some shit like that, and it's like I don't know what information they've been told, but I don't think it's that serious either way. Maybe the conspiracy theorist got to them. I don't know, but maybe there could be a real larger threat on the horizon. What that is, I don't know. I would say that as days goes on, if anything gets insane out there, just keep a lookout on my channel. I'll be posting whatever video I need. I was gonna do a live stream tomorrow to kind of just because I don't know if you guys could like hear it in my voice. I'm kind of just like, just kind of like it's in the air for at least in my area, but maybe that's also me just
being over it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, because I don't want to add to the fear and the paranoia that I know where it's coming from and I know why they're doing it. So me sitting around worrying about it and worrying, even if it is like the end of the world or whatever, it's like, it is what it is, baby. We've been kind of getting our minds prepared for stuff like this anyway. But
you can feel it, Tony, in the air tonight.
But at the same time, I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. I'm taking this time. I'm using this instead of getting angry at people and going to war with feminists or whatever. I'm using this as instead an opportunity to make amends and love everyone as much as possible and spread love as much as possible and call up loved ones and make sure that they're okay, because I wish I could get through some of these college kids and tell them that now's not the time for a lot of fuck shit. You take your chances. I would never try to shut anyone down. You take your chances. I don't know how like this governor is telling me that half the people in my state, 28 million people, are going to catch this virus. What that means, I don't know. But it's like if you're predicting we're gonna catch this thing, then what is the shut everything down, everything this and everything that, and it's like in some areas, yes, I get it, but in some areas, it's like it leads you to believe they're trying to pull some fuck shit. And
but look, how did South Korea, you know what I'm saying, minimize their casualties? How did Taiwan minimize their casualties?
Well, that's another thing I also wanted to bring up.
There are more beds.
Preventative care for the most part.
ICU beds to
They
people
locked
there
that
than they
shit
are
the fuck
here.
down.
Yeah, that's what they did.
But
America claimed they locked the shit down, but then they let a lady in from Italy, and they let another lady in from a country where it's like everything's going crazy, and they basically got a bunch of people infected. So like their borders aren't even locked down as much as they claim they are, which really sucks.
And that's something else I've been like. It's just like when it comes to the media, dude. I don't know what to believe with them. I just don't. You know, yeah. I don't. These are the same people who've been lying about this politician or that politician, and then they get caught up in their shit, and then they want to cover, and spin information. And right now, half of the panic and pandemonium that's going on, they don't want people to panic. But it's like you're the ones that are stepping this shit up. You're the one, like they're not declaring martial law or anything like that, but there are whispers of it. They're
not trying to step it up, but they did all the work in preparation, making us susceptible, making us vulnerable, making us snowflakes, and so they don't even have to scare us that much for us to react so heavily.
I think that's what it is, you know.
And it's a shame. I feel like a lot of shame because it's like watching all these people walk around, it like makes me feel ashamed to be where I'm from, to be American. Like it makes me ashamed to be like a part of this. And even though knowing that we still have a potential to fight against it and like beat it, like every other country that's made progress.
Well, you also got to take reason too. The reason why they went so hard on it in the media is because there's a lot of stupid motherfuckers in America that just believe they're invincible because they have money, or they're invincible because they're kids, or they're invincible because they're special, or they're feminist, or just stupid shit like that. For the most part,
I'll tell you. For the most part, I have been keeping my distance from people as much as I can. I've been if I don't like go out. Your boy does read the Bible. I have been, nigga. I'm sorry. God's getting involved right now, baby. Okay, I don't care what nobody say. Okay, I'll go to the park, a park I like to go to, which is closed, by the way, and for good reason. Good reason. I honestly believe if all the fear mongering and all that shit, all our worst fears aren't true, we need to use this as an opportunity for two things. One, we need to think about how we clean in this country and sanitization. And yes, exactly.
That's our infrastructure. Yeah.
Exactly. We need to think about all of that. And two, get our shit from China. We don't need any more jobs being outsourced. And then you have these places or these people like Jimmy Kimmel or whatever, or even Jeremy Lin. And I understand some points of what they're saying, but it came from China. It came from Wuhan. That's what the hell it is. And it's like, we don't need to have our people.
Chinese virus.
Well, there's no need. There's no room for social justice anymore. Okay, there's no room for defending somebody just because of you want to virtue signal to other people how inclusive you are.
That's another thing. Where are the feminists? Where are the feminists?
They're gone.
They're quiet. I told you they ain't got shit to say during this whole entire thing because they're too busy scared trying to live.
They caused it.
I'm just saying, before we start talking about inclusivity, we need to understand that we intern the Japanese for less than this.
We need to be something before we start including people.
Hell, there's a lot of Asians that went into that internment camp that wasn't Japanese for less than this.
It's like, I'm Filipino. Like, we don't care. You're a threat.
Yeah.
I bet you Pacific Islander today.
Right? Right.
So if they do declare some form of martial law, they're going to do it in places that are because they're not going to do it where I'm at because the military is technically already here. So that's like a hat on a hat. But in a lot of places like Los Angeles and like like San Francisco. Oh yeah, dude, they're definitely like here. If you do run into a troop, it won't be anything like get on the ground, fucking. They'll just be like, if it gets that deep, it'll just be like, okay, we're in a lockdown situation, return to your home or whatever. But it's like, it will beg the question, like, okay.
Missouri and Kansas is, on the other hand, it's two totally different things, though. They actually are snatching people up for either the civil disobedience or appearing sick.
Yeah, that's what's bugging me. Even and I don't know how true this report is, but it's from Rolling Stone, so you can take it for a grain of salt. But the DOJ rumored was talking about limiting certain constitutional rights, and I'm like, whoa, see, this is the shit that we're talking about. Every single time there's some sort of disaster or crisis, the government wants to start taking away people's rights, and it's like, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist or a paranoid delinquent or a unabiding citizen by disobeying this quarantine or whatever. That's not what I'm trying to do. It's just that you're asking me literally to give up my freedoms, give up my way of life, and be afraid of this virus that when you look up who's dying from it, there are people with pre-existing conditions, people who are at the target age of being at that age, and I'm like, and then you do analyze the numbers compared to what's like been killing Americans, and it's like,
do you know what the mortality rate in Italy is right now?
For the virus?
Yeah,
I don't know.
10%.
It's like they're saying something like 8%, 10%, which you just did.
Like now, would you want them to take a chance with 30? Like, do you want them to really take a chance with 10% of our population, something like 30 million people?
But see,
like,
that's the
keep it
thing.
Real. Do you want them to gamble on your life?
The Italian people, like in Italy, it's mainly a lot of old people.
Yeah, true story.
You see what I'm
but
saying?
The sad part of it, the neat thing I love about this whole entire thing, what McSauce said is, you said 30 million people, which would be 30%. Would you say 30% of our population? That's
10%. 10%.
Yeah, 10% of our population would be 30 million. Let's put this in perspective.
And that's rounding down.
If that's 10% of our population, that's about about more than 80% of the black population.
Did any of you guys catch that?
What's that?
The thought that just hit on me while I'm on my Segway.
Who just got in?
Max,
Some of you guys saw that.
I can see it.
And I'm not saying don't take this this serious.
Which one are you?
I'm from Red Pill Religion. You posted your link in our server.
Oh, I did. Okay, cool. Okay, that's what I did. Okay.
Yeah, fine. Saying hi. What are we talking about?
And I'm definitely not saying don't take this virus seriously, but it's like they really are placating to this virus and using it as fear porn. Like when you look at the numbers,
the fear is worse than the virus. Period.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The government is doing way worse than this virus ever could.
On your life, though. I mean, you gotta understand.
Dude, first and foremost,
worst case scenario. It's
ahead,
a 10% mortality rate. It's a 10% mortality rate in Italy. Do you want the commander-in-chief gambling with your life? Let's just keep it real. Like, let's not, get into the conspiracies. Let's look at the decisions that have to be made as a commander-in-chief.
The sad part about that is 10% of the American population is only a drop in a bucket. And half the motherfuckers that are going to get sick are probably going to be them dumbass motherfuckers at spring break any fucking way. And I really don't give a fuck if they live or die any fucking way because they're dumb as fuck.
We're still playing fear porn. It's like, okay, we're talking about 10% mortality rate, but we're not talking about how many people recover from this. We're also not talking about
how many people are going to die.
Because at the end of the day, once you look at it, even though we talk about the mortality rate, the whole entire mortality rate, and double I, the heck, I'm talking about the mortality rate.
I gotta tell you, MGTOW in the wind is fucking right. Swift drivers cannot fucking drive. I almost got run over by a fucking Swift driver in an 18-wheeler on my fucking Segway, and I'm not even on a goddamn road.
Jeez Louise.
Oh, but basically the thing, even though McSauce is saying this shit, the fact of the matter is, even though Italy has 10% that are actually dying, the whole entire world is only suffering at the rate of 4%.
But would you take chances with a worst case scenario like that, though? Let's just keep it real.
Well, see,
I
would.
Italy didn't even try.
I'm sorry.
I'm telling you,
stupid people got to die some fucking times. I'm sorry.
Italy
I hate to
did
break it to
not.
you, but stupid people got to die.
Italy did not do any kind of preparation for this with zero type of medical equipment whatsoever. I'm sorry, but it's like
the sad part about that is
I really don't like it.
Lives or die right now.
I really don't like it when we have a way lower mortality rate. We have way more people recovering from this than any other virus that's killing us at a higher mortality rate. By the way, I've been trying to get that in, but it's like whenever we bring these things up, it's like, well, look at Italy. Look at what Italy's going through, and it's like that is not an argument. That is poor argument.
That is a poor argument.
I'm not saying it is an argument. What I'm saying is that's the worst case scenario. And would you gamble with a worst case scenario like that? That's all I'm saying.
That's not even a worst case scenario because we actually had the ventilation. We actually had the ventilators in our hospitals to deal with that. Whereas Italy didn't have the ventilators in their hospitals to deal with that. That's what made them suck so badly. And the sad part about that is the only reason why other people are dying because they're literally picking and choosing who's going to live or die on them ventilators because they're limited. They have a limited supply, and the government can actually request more, but they haven't done it yet.
And I'm not
saying that's the government's fucking fault.
And I'm not saying that
it's kind of like when it's kind of like when sorry about that, Sherm. It's kind of like when Australia was having the national fires. And they kept on letting the shit go, and people were offering them, tankers so they can put out the fucking fires, but they kept denying the shit. That's basically the same fucking thing that Italy's going through right now. They kept on turning down shit or not asking for shit, and this is what they got, basically. It's just facts.
You know what all this fear-mongering is leading to? A lot of people calling and saying, yes, it's good that they're shutting everything. That's what's stopping the virus. And it's like, wait a minute. I've studied quite a few about virus. That is not how you... If this guy... is talking about 28 million Americans are going to get it. Half of California is going to get it anyway, which is going to cause a stir crazy shit time here. Then it's like, okay, so what's the point of the quarantine? If that's the case, you might as well just let people catch it. You got to take your chances because you know what we're actually really gambling with right now? We're gambling with our economy. We really are. Okay?
Would you rather gamble economy or people's lives?
Dude, the flu has killed way more people this year than this virus.
But the flu ain't as communicable as this.
This is another strand of the flu. It's almost on the same family. Now our concern
it's SARS-CoV-2 basically.
It's like, again, they want us panicking over something that might not be that dangerous. And I'm not saying we should gamble, but I'm saying it's like I'm also not going to just live in fear. Like if this coronavirus comes back or the flu comes back, again, the flu has killed more people. It does similar, like everything that we're talking about in terms of pre-existing conditions. I don't know what to tell you, but older people are a lot more susceptible to a numerous amount of viruses and bacteria. That's why people with suppressed immune systems are even at a nice, even higher risk for this shit too. Exactly.
I have a suppressed immune system.
Don't take your ass outside.
Exactly. Be careful when dude. It's like it's almost like that movie, Away We Go, with Maya Rudolph and whatever that guy is with the beard, and he's like, oh man, but what happens if I go out and I get hit over the head over by a construction site or something? And she's just like, be careful around construction sites. That's all you can do. What we're doing is like it's maddening. It's going to like okay, I would say we shouldn't be doing all that shit that the kids are doing at the beach and all that shit. You know,
spring break, yeah.
We need to shut down certain areas like movie theaters and gyms for a while so we can get more hand sanitizers and more cleanliness going on and kind of get the ethnics of cleanliness down. Sure, absolutely. Especially, but it's like if we're gonna do this for coronavirus, which is basically the flu, then that means we're gonna be doing this shit forever.
We can't say that, man, because
it's not basically the flu. It's a respiratory.
This stuff is way more communicable than the flu, man. Like this is airborne, dude. This ain't no regular flu.
The flu, you do know the flu's airborne too, right?
Yeah, exactly. You see what I mean with the fear porn? Like everyone's catching it.
Yeah,
everyone.
The flu's airborne also.
It's
if people actually get weeks off from work from the flu, if they remotely have the flu, a week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks off from the flu, depending on what hospital or what your SOPs is at each hospital. So
I'm not saying it isn't fear porn. This is what I'm saying. If this is the so-called, let's just say worst case scenario, this shit is the Spanish flu. Like you would want these precautions to be taking place.
Well, the sad part about that is, what the thing that you're missing about this, that guy is the precautions are taking place, but like I said, there's a lot of dumbass motherfuckers doing dumbass shit and contracting it and not really thinking too much about their parents or their grandparents or any elderly loved one that they could possibly think of or anybody else's loved ones. That's the fucking problem. The stupid motherfuckers who are actually bring this back to elderly people or people with suppressed immune systems because they're too fucking stupid to follow fucking rules.
And see, I'm following rules. I'm not going out in large crowds. I'm keeping my distancing. I'm making sure that, but that's something that we should be doing anyway if you're sick. That's something that you should already be practicing if we get sick in general. So why is it that all of a sudden this virus comes along and everyone wants draconian shutdown? And these are good things.
Attention to that draconian shutdown.
Exactly. That's all. That's my only point. Is like we let this media scare us to a point where it's like, yes, government, yes, take away my rights for more of your security. And then when it's all said and done, oh shit, we ain't got neither. What happened? And the government is walking away with more power, just like they did in 9/11, just like they did back in the crash in 2008. And it's like it's the same song and dance. Now it almost makes you want to believe that let Yellowstone blow up because hell, at least we are in the face of actual disaster. It makes you like want to go out and just like, okay, let's just go ahead and catch the coronavirus because I'm not going to sit up and just be afraid and my God life, and especially if I know I can recover from it. Now I'm not saying that we should gamble. I think what we're doing right now at the current moment is the best you can do with any country. You can't control all 40 million people. Are you out of your fucking mind? And if they're trying to do something like that, all this FEMA camp talk should really be getting people a little nervous, just a tad bit nervous. I am not nervous over this virus. This virus is not making me nervous. It's these fucking people who are making me nervous.
Is that Sherm? Is that Sherm talking?
Sherm. Yeah, that's Sherm.
Well, you're not. Yeah, you're on point, Sherm. You're absolutely on point.
And this is why Tico's in another country.
I'm not trying to downplay anything. That guy. I'm not the one to say, yeah, just go out there and get hell to the no. You definitely shouldn't be licking toilet seats on airplanes and doing dumb.
Did you see that shit? The toilet seat licking challenge. These are the dumb motherfuckers we're talking about right here. Think about that. There's a toilet seat licking challenge all over the fucking YouTube now. There's already been 10 women that uploaded videos where they were licking fucking toilet seats. Matter of fact, there's a bitch that did it on Twitch.
On a side note, this country has never been so damn fucking clean.
Honestly, to be honest with you, here's the upside to all this. The sky outside is beautiful, dude. It is just, it's breathable. It's like the trees are, dude, it's beautiful. The trees are singing, the birds are chirping.
The only sad part is I can't go to San Diego Zoo and smoke up with my friend Sherm because the fucking zoo is closed. Yam and I would have done a field trip today. Fuck that.
Fuck yeah, dude. Because I'm available, especially now. I just dropped off my kid earlier today, so.
Well,
and that's the thing that I don't want to take it for granted. You know, I don't want to take things like that. So I'm trying to.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't
spend as much time with people because,
if anything, this virus should have opened everybody's eyes to that particular fact right there. Look, you got old people dropping like flies in Italy, right? So
yeah, but these young crowd don't give a fuck about old people. That's the problem.
Here's the thing. Some of them have connections to their grandparents. And to those that are listening, if you have a grandparent out there, you might want to reach out, no matter what the situation is. Because let me tell you something. After this is all over, or after the dust settles, you may not have that grandparent. And that's how serious this shit is.
Exactly.
Yeah, because people out here just running around acting stupid, taking shit for granted, and it's bullshit.
Yeah, just be careful, man. Wash your hands, take showers regularly. I mean, hygienic shit that we should all know. I feel that there is a certain generation in this country that it's just going to be real hard to get this fucking message across to them. And I was saying earlier, also pay attention to your gun rights, too. Because they're trying to pass some sneaky ass bills. He's like, it's same song and dance. It's like
they are passing some sneaky ass bills right now.
But for those that are educated, they already know that you can't pass anything in direct contradiction to anything like this. I mean, it's void.
Well,
anything that goes against these
it doesn't matter. See, that's the thing, though. Void. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with an epidemic like this, or I'm sorry, a pandemic like this. You can pretty much do any fucking thing you want. The sky's the fucking limit. Like this is a good example on how motherfuckers, by scaring motherfuckers into this shit, you can actually take everybody's guns rights away. And if the DOJ is talking about suspending the Constitution like they're doing, they can actually do that shit. So this is a nice way to actually take away people's shit. And you don't realize
so how do you enforce that though? How do you
can enforce it if they suspend the Constitution, it's easily done.
How can you enforce it though? You see what happened at the Bundy Ranch. How do you enforce that?
But
the sad part about that is we're talking about the Bundy Ranch, but the difference between the Bundy Ranch and now, shit that would happen nowadays, is exactly what I said in the last stream not too long ago. They would just drone strike the shit out of your ass. It's that fucking simple. There's guns. You have no guns in your fucking arsenal that can deal with a bomber or a fucking drone striking your ass. It's that fucking simple. Or they'll just roll up on you with a tank. What the fuck you gonna do with a tank? Oh, I got this AR-15. What the fuck an AR-15 gonna do with a tank? Come on now, think about that shit.
But how many of these SJW beta bitch boys are really gonna fucking fight against any army of any kind?
My point exactly, and that's majority of the motherfuckers. That's majority of the fucking men in the United States right there.
So let's look.
So there's only a small percentage of men that can actually do some shit, and they ain't got a snowball's chance.
And as you can
let's
see,
look at the logical end of this, right? So even if they can pass a gun law hidden underneath, right, which they absolutely can, and the reason I know that guy is because look at Title 4D. Title 4D isn't even a fucking law. Title 4D is not even a fucking law, but yet they enforce it.
Yeah.
As if it was.
Title 4D, if they actually enforce Title 4D on you, you can actually lose gun rights.
Correct.
So license, gun rights, and all that shit.
Sorry, Tico, but how is that? All right, so let's say they do pass some law where they take your gun. How exactly, logistically, do they get the guns away from you?
They'll either take them, or ask for them, or take them, or it'll just pretty much blow you off of existence.
Yeah, you either surrender
look at the
situation, them or you get them taken from you.
Look at the situation.
Think about that shit. They're snatching up motherfuckers in Kansas and Missouri right now for civil disobedience or seeming sick. What the fuck you think you're going to do with a person with a gun if they're snatching up these motherfuckers?
And can we get biblical for a minute? But let's just say, for the sake of argument, considering the fact that we know this virus is going to come back again, how are we to prove to other people that we got our vaccines? Comrade? How do we do that? And this is, keep this in mind, this is a worldwide pandemic. And you can't spell pandemic without panic.
True.
Here's how they're going to do it, and they did it to us already. If you look on any immigrant's left arm, when we came into this country, we were marked like cattle.
That's biblical, baby. That's what we're trying
And
to
the sad
avoid.
part about that is now the version of that now is pretty much Social Security numbers.
Yeah, Title
Basically.
4D. Title 4D
And Title 40.
is the
And
most.
the sad part about that is there's a large chunk of men. There's a
weapon.
large chunk of men who can actually fall under the Title 4D law.
Yeah.
Who actually have kids that can actually have their guns taken away from them. That's easy peasy right there. That's probably majority of the men who actually own guns, who actually running around not paying child support. Gone. Their gun rights are gone. If they really wanted to enforce the shit, it's pretty much gone. They could take your driver's license and they could take your gun. And if they take your driver's license and catch you driving, you're pretty much already at shit up creek because they could take your gun then.
Yeah, can you prove that
of
you slept with a woman
Title
in the
4D.
past 5 years? Then you're eligible for Title 4D.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So like you can actually lose your gun rights, you can use your driving rights, you can lose all them fucking rights right off the bat. And if you go to jail for a felony, you automatically lose your rights to actually carry a firearm. If you actually were in a hospital, if you were in a psych hospital, if you were 302 into a psych hospital or in a psych hospital, period, you lose your rights to actually carry firearms.
Well, you guys are going to love this. Remember, I told you, right? I got arrested for Title 4D, right?
Yeah.
For having a suspended license. I ended up in jail. Here's the thing. I've got a do not fucking detain on my driver's license. How the fuck did I end up in jail?
Because you're a national. That's how you got that.
Nope. That's not why. I got a do not detain on my license. So if I get pulled over, it says do not detain. Cop will not pull me over, will not even detain me. But yet, when my license went suspended, that do not detain meant nothing.
True story.
And rights are not just rights if they could just simply just take them away.
Yeah,
that means we're dealing with something.
That's pretty well. To be honest with you, Sherm, that's actually what rights are. Pretty much, it's your right. Your right is afforded to you by your government for the most part. So your right can be rescinded by your government. It's basically like if you're sitting at home and you disrespect your parents and they put your ass on punishment, you can't play your PlayStation no fucking more. Basically, it's that fucking simple. That's what your rights pretty much is. Your parents put you on punishment and telling you we can't do this right now because of this, or you cut up, or you acted a fool. That's all it the fuck is. So all these people that always talk about these rights, it can be rescinded or revoked at any given fucking time. It doesn't matter what a piece of paper says. They can be taken.
And I want to, that guy, trust me, dude, I want to believe. I want so fucking badly to believe that our government really cares about our health. But again, I live in a state where at one point our governor decided that he was going to make HIV a misdemeanor. Now, HIV is a life-altering disease that has killed millions of people.
Yeah.
But yet, we're not doing all these martial laws and lockdown talk about that.
Yeah, then we got a few of these bitches on the internet talking about writing op-eds about I gave AIDS to over 100 men. You don't see them bitches getting arrested. Yeah, there's bitches literally writing articles about giving AIDS to a bunch of men, and them bitches ain't even getting arrested. They admitted to it in the article, and them bitches don't even get arrested for this shit, and they basically just give them a slap on the wrist and say, don't do that again.
Fellas, you gotta wrap your meat.
Where you been? We've already done this shit.
I think there's going to be. I think judging by
and she was actually proud. She was actually gloating about this shit, and she's actually proud about it. Matter of fact, there was one lady that made a YouTube video about being proud about doing it.
Really?
Yeah. Then you got this goofball nigga over here that made a video about he doesn't believe he doesn't believe he should have to disclose his AIDS to his partners. His AIDS status to his partners. It should be something that his partner should do and ask him about. Nigga, what? That's a fucking felony. Well, in some states, because a lot of women got it, they actually tried to lower it to like a misdemeanor now in some states. Yeah.
Out of pocket.
Because a lot of women got it.
Here's
Because
another
technically,
fear.
women should be going to jail for some felony shit, but because a decent amount of women got it, and they talked about, and the women pretty much kissed a lot of ass, sucked a lot of dick, they're talking about lowering the fucking thing to a misdemeanor now, or less time.
Here's what I'm talking about. I just got a Gab report. More fear porn. Rand Paul has tested positive. So because Rand Paul tested positive, and by the way, how are we administering these tests again? I mean, if you're not Rand Paul, are you playing the NBA, or you're a celebrity, or it's kind of hard to get these tests. Will we all agree on that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, the sad part about that is the United States already said that they're behind in the testing kits because they don't have the testing kits. So how the fuck is all these people getting tested in the United States if they don't have the testing kits to test all these people?
When you say confirmed, cases, that means that you actually know. If we're not testing, how the hell do we know? And right now we have 300,000 confirmed cases. But where are these tests being administered? How are they being administered? And where are the results? Total recovered 94,000. So again, we're ignoring the high recovery rate. It's like once you catch the coronavirus, you got it forever. You see where we're going with this? Total deaths 13,000.
Yeah, it's a mark.
But anybody who knows anything about viruses, like if you look at the Spanish flu, there was 2 waves. You had the first wave, and then you had the second wave, and the second wave was the deadly wave. So
Hold on, that guy. Well,
that's because that one actually mutated. That's why the second wave was worse, and that ended up being a different strain of the Spanish flu.
It's
True
a form
Sherm's
of
got a
class
point.
distinction.
Here's the thing: when this first wave, or when this virus hit and everything like that, what people are not realizing is the ones that have the money are the ones that are going to essentially make it out of this without any, scratches.
Any scratches or yeah.
Because if you look at what True Sherm said, how are these people getting tested? So he's asking the right questions at this point, right? So the next question should be, on your radar, you should be looking at the news for anomalies. Let me tell you an anomaly, all right? Either yesterday or a couple days ago, a private jet from, I think, Aruba landed in fucking... where was it? Either LAX or one of the Western airports in California. This guy was in some sort of a device to keep him alive. Okay? Private jet. Meanwhile, we have travel bans and restrictions and shit like that. Yet this motherfucker is landing a motherfucking Porsche of a jet in LAX or wherever the hell he landed, getting
treatment,
an ambulance out on a fucking runway, and then he's taken to wherever he wants to go. People like you and me are flown in and put into containment with a fucking guard at the goddamn
and this
door.
This is what we're talking about right here. It says DOJ seeks ability to detain people indefinitely without trial. But meanwhile, in a state like mine, they're releasing criminals from the prison because they're afraid that the prisoners, we can't have them with coronavirus, but we could take your monkey ass to jail because you got the coronavirus. Exactly. You see what I'm talking about? They're not making any sense. They're not making any sense. In Germany,
try to argue that you're not a witch during the Salem witch trials.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Like, I'm not a witch. We're still gonna drown you, bitch. Like, come on now, think about that.
And lack of human interaction, like physical human interaction, like all the stuff that we were doing, that's driving people crazy. And it just says here that Germany bans gatherings of more than 2 people. Would you even call me and Tico Tren standing on me and Tico Tren standing on a fucking street corner? That's too much for them. That's too much in Germany. Just imagine if that was California, where we were. There's a lot of people.
It is California. It is right now. It's happening right now, dude. I just got off of a trail with Yam, and those clammy those clammy thoughts were so fucking desperate that they were turning it up a notch. Their volume level was up. You should have seen all the yoga stretch pants on the fat ass cottage cheese hose that were on that fucking trail.
Everywhere.
Ew.
They're a Roni.
Asses
They're a Roni vector.
everywhere.
They're a vector for their Roni.
Yeah, that Roni love, baby.
Yeah, man. You got
Yeah,
that?
it was crazy, and I think this is definitely gonna.
Corona.
Somebody needs
I
to
mean,
get Forma in here, and we can have we can stage a Roni tea party. And just get
I
all the
understand your point
N95
of view.
and
I understand your point of view as far as like them. I mean, anytime you lose anything as far as your rights is concerned, you always have to look at it because it's never a good thing.
Yeah,
But at
because
the
like you
same-
also got to look at it. If you're losing your rights, is what you're losing your rights for worth? Is what you're losing your rights for worth to you actually giving up your rights? Is the question.
That guy, where are
It's
you?
like before you
Where are
dive
you?
in.
He's
are
in
you-
California.
Oh, okay.
yeah, this is a very California-centric stream.
wow.
I'm gonna need to just
Yeah.
check our privilege.
Most of the people, I'm gonna need y'all to check out California
our
privilege
West Coast
at the
privilege.
door, okay, y'all? Because there's way too
Sorry.
many of y'all niggas in here with California.
But before you dive in,
me
Before
and
you dive in,
Psychesoap's not liking his California privilege up in this bitch.
Yeah, and I'm gonna infect you with the Roni boy.
before you dive in,
Get
you
that
gotta
Cali-Roni. Got that Cali-Roni going.
The only reason why I'm inclined to believe that it's not some sort of conspiracy is the amount of money that everybody's losing. I mean, we just spent $5 trillion to keep our stock market afloat. That's not no bluff. People who do stuff with like a conspiracy theory mindset, there's always an aim, an objective, a desired
also gotta
result.
take
What is the
consideration,
desired
too.
result for this?
You also
Money.
take consideration too.
No,
we're
not
losing money.
That guy. You know we're still trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, right? So we need to keep our stock market afloat so we can remotely look like we're somewhat
It's a punt.
economically
We've
strong.
essentially
That's the
punted
only
the
reason
problem
why.
down.
Because we're still in debt right now.
Well, we all this stuff to China though, and the way we should be looking at China, we should be looking at them as the adversary that they are, and we should be pulling the trumpet saying, "Fuck you, we ain't paying shit."
Okay, yeah, but that's cool though and all. But China makes 80% of our antibiotics.
Why we need to make our own? It's not hard.
And the thing,
we
the
go
thing
back
that
to
people fail to
predicting
realize about
everything.
when it comes to medicine, like people say, well, we got Pfizer. Well, Pfizer's owned by GSK, GlaxoSmithKline. Well, isn't GlaxoSmithKline owned by the United States? No, they're actually a UK-based company with the headquarters in Switzerland.
We can
And
make our own everything.
they own majority of the stock in Pfizer.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Dianne Feinstein one of the 4 senators that were caught insider trading?
Yeah.
So people are making money. Like, and that's another thing. That's why these fucking people should be hung from their feet. The fact that they knew about this shit are they should be at least investigated to find out if they knew about this, and if they did, how come they didn't ring the alarm bell? They could have prevented a disaster.
And
Only
peep
people
this,
losing
right?
money is us.
All of this so-called insider trading happened months ago. This isn't nothing that happened last week or a month ago. This happened months ago.
You guys
So
are
what is-
ignoring. You guys are ignoring the one basic thing. I mean, you
Who's
guys
winning?
are tap dancing. You're tap dancing around it, but you're ignoring it.
What,
What's
power?
up, Double I?
Agenda
21.
2021 and Agenda 2030.
I kind of have been dancing around it because I don't want to think about a whole bunch of people mindlessly getting butchered because of...
I know. I hear what you're saying, brother. This is all part of that. I mean, you want to get your tinfoil hats out. It's a fact. This is all part of that.
So what's the aim then, Double? I'm not saying that it's not the truth. I'm just wanting some clarification. What's the goal? Like what's the desired result?
Well, I think, and this is just my speculation because these people they literally do speak through symbolism in movies and shit like that.
Mhm.
But the end game is to basically take half of us out. If not half of us, then a good about 80% of us.
Thanos. Boom.
Isn't there more efficient ways to do that?
Yes.
There are.
Actually,
And as a matter of
there is,
fact,
but it'd be too blatant. Like there's a good example of something I was saying yesterday in the stream. There's SARS-CoV-3, which is actually a bioweapon that nobody knows about.
Let me put it to you this way. So let me answer the question since it was
SARS-CoV-2
directed.
is actually 30 to 20 times worse than actual this shit right here.
So since it was directed towards me, let me answer in my way. Here's what I would have to say, that guy. The end game is a mystery because we are part of the sheep.
Okay.
You see, we're not the ones holding the strings, nor are we the ones holding the cards here. So essentially, if you're not holding the cards and if you're not directing traffic, you're being trafficked. You see?
You're the card.
You're the card. So if you're in this position and you want to know what the end game is, you can only speculate because you don't see the big picture.
It's kind of like what I said in the one stream when I said
so if you can only
2020,
speculate.
Remember when I said hindsight's 2020 in the one stream? I said that's why that rich man and his daughter asked me to actually donate sperm so she can have children.
So if you can only speculate, you've got to take all the facts that are thrown your way, all the hints that are thrown your way. One of the things is because Agenda 21, because MK Ultra, mind control, and also Agenda 2030 has been labeled as conspiratorial things. Most people, even when it's spoken of in true language, most people ignore it because they see it as conspiratorial. But if you look at all the key factors and all the deliverables for Agenda 21, they've all almost been met, the key factors. So by 2021, the Agenda 21 metrics will show that all those key factors and all those key achievements have been met. So once that's been completed, then points of Agenda 2030 will start. But in that stage and step process, if there are any key factors that are not met yet, this is when you will see things happen in a spectacular way in order to meet those objectives.
And the sad part about that is, I hate to say this, but with the African American abortion rate as high as it is, and the African American population declining like it is, African American women are helping out with this lovely agenda without even trying.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's another thing. They see that's how they're efficiently doing it, by pushing things like, and no offense to anyone, but pushing things like the trans agenda and all that other stuff, you know, trying to make Wolverine gay. It's just one more means to.
Hold on, they made Wolverine gay?
Oh, yes, my dude. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, man.
Did you bisexual?
Did you see one of the more?
I don't watch movies, man.
Yeah, I don't watch
like
movies either, because like that's why a part of me is like, I'm not all that shooken up by this whole coronavirus thing, because it's like, it's good that Pedalwood is shut down for a while. That's good. That's something that I can never do. That's how I know God's somewhat getting involved here. But in my speculation, they got us by the balls, and it's really. Hang on, I'm right back. They weakened us. They've dumbed us down. They use feminism to destroy men, and I'm not fucking around.
Not just feminism, but hold on. True Sherm, have you seen that? And this is a direct question to you. Have you seen that show Black Lightning?
I haven't seen it, but I know of it.
What are your thoughts of that, please?
My only thoughts is how it was canceled. It was canceled abruptly, basically.
But so you never saw any of the episodes or anything like that?
No, all I know is
I've seen some of the episodes.
Can we get a quick dissertation?
Huh?
What do you? Okay.
Can we get a quick dissertation of that?
Psychesoap. Hold on a minute. If Psychesoap, you said you saw it, Psychesoap. Anybody else?
Yeah, I've seen that shit. No, I mean, it's kind of funny how that they made Black Lightning a fucking afterthought, whereas everyone around him is the hero. Same thing, same thing that fucking happened with Black Panther.
Yes.
Wasn't Killmonger the hero?
Well, it's just like that they try to put prop these stars up
like these male stars up, and it's like a bluff, because it's like what they really want is to put everyone else around, prop everyone else around them, like elevate them.
They try to
the status
they
of a
try to
black
sell
man.
Black Lightning to young black men as a superhero. And if you watch that show, that guy is portrayed as nothing but a fucking cuck, and his 3 women, essentially his wife and his 2 daughters, run his life for him.
Facts.
Shit, he's not even the central fucking character.
No, he is
know what
not.
I'm saying?
Yeah, he's not. Because I think his children are.
And this is what they're trying to
Diane
portray
McClain.
as your new nuclear family.
All right, so this is my question, Double I, because I have a question, I think you can answer it. All right, so let's say that this Agenda 21 thing is let's say that this is the end game and it has to do with Agenda 21. Like, wouldn't it be more efficient just to let let's say 2008, it would have been more efficient just to let the market free fall as opposed to saving it for 12 years. What's the point of saving the market for 12 years if you're just going to let this go to shit right now?
Do you hold on.
Really
Do you eat meat? Do you eat meat?
Yes.
Do you eat chicken?
Yes.
Do you know the difference between different types of chickens?
Yes.
Okay. So knowing that, what type of chicken do you prefer?
Reapers.
Okay, I don't know what kind of chicken that is.
They're all black.
Okay, they're black. Okay.
All
and
black.
How are they raised?
Each person raises them different, but that was my preferred breed.
Okay, so each person raises them differently.
Absolutely.
So you're saying their personal raising, the personal raising of that chicken is what you're looking for, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when you go buy that chicken, or if you raise it yourself, what are the key factors? What you feed it?
What are you feeding it, and what environment are you? Can it move about freely?
Correct.
So free range chickens, yeah.
So it's a free roaming chicken, right?
Yes.
So why do you prefer that chicken?
You know what? I mean, we could always say a bunch of reasons, but I really can't say exactly why. It's just better for some reason.
It tastes better, I'm sure.
Yes, they do.
I'm sure the meat is not as tough. It's probably more tender.
It does taste different.
It's not an overly plump bird, but yet it has the meat in the right places and the fat in the other places.
A real chicken, a real chicken is anywhere from 6 to 9 pounds at death.
Right. You're controlling what it eats, everything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are you different from that chicken?
I'm not sure what context we're speaking about.
We're talking about your humanity, sir.
I'm a human.
How are you any different from that chicken? You're being raised by your government.
Okay, I see it.
And they just took away our ability to feed ourselves.
Free roam.
Right.
Free Roni.
So now where are we going to get our money from?
Well, money is an illusion.
Who's talking about a $1 trillion stimulus package to give us all $1,000 checks every single month? Which, by the way,
chickens are scared, and the chickens need to be tended to. So the farmer is going to come out with the fucking seed and throw it around like it means nothing to him, because it doesn't.
Doesn't mean nothing.
Wake the fuck up, people.
It means nothing to him at all, just that they'll all see that people for the most part.
Wake the fuck up. If you're waiting for that goddamn check to arrive in your mailbox, that $1,200 check that you were promised by Mnuchin, all that is chicken feed.
Literally.
And kind of like what
you
Double
did
I's
was pay
saying
for
about
my Obamacare, motherfucker. That's all you did.
Yeah, what Double I's saying
sir.
about the Black Lightning thing is new. It's an advanced. It's like an evolved solution, because letting the stock market crash and everything, people have worked around that ever since the first depression.
Does that answer your question? Know that guy?
Yeah.
I understand it. I understand your point of view.
You see what I'm saying, though, right? It's not an insult. I'm not trying to say that you're a piece of chicken or anything like that.
No, I don't take it like that. We can understand analogies here.
That guy, for the most part, has been, about that. He's asking the right questions.
Yes, he is. He hit the nail on the head.
You know what I'm saying?
That question right there, and that's why I took the time to make sure you understood it, is because that is exactly what they're doing to us, my friend.
And the thing about that is, like, you always
we're being
happy.
We're being made happy because of they don't want their flock to die.
Or
to rise up against them.
Right.
Basically. It's kind of like what I said.
There's a plague in their flock.
If they start isolating people, then people will start being introverts. You can't have a bunch of introverts because introverts start thinking. Because people are dumb, but a person is smart. So if you got people by themselves, they'll start thinking about shit, and shit will start marinating in their head, and they'll get some ideas, and they'll actually start thinking. So you keep everybody scared together, and isolated scared together, and that way you don't really think about anything else or think about how to get out for the most part.
Which is probably why they keep on repeating the same old thing. No gatherings of more than 10 people. I'm hearing a little bit of an echo in the distance, though. It also includes, especially you people with guns.
And older people like don't have any hope, don't band together.
Smart, logical people.
What I was about to say is, like, people have been laughing about the fact that I've been traveling a lot. Well, Tico, I understand why you travel, because this shit started last year. This COVID shit started last year. Like, when they name some shit, they name it for the year. So 19 means last year. Okay. So I've been traveling since last year to avoid all this bullshit. I've been leaving the country on a regular basis to avoid this bullshit, and I only stop in for several reasons: to check my mailbox, and as soon as I check my mailbox, I'm on the next flight out that afternoon to leave. And if the airport shuts down, then I can always go to what's it called, Skyward Aviations, and they'll pretty much fly me right out.
Yeah, you don't get that Roni, boy.
Yeah, and that's the sad part. Like,
he's immune for the Roni.
I've been traveling on purpose just so I can avoid this shit, or so I would avoid being caught up with the rest of the people, or being like herded into a fucking camp some damn where, all because the government decided this is what needs to be done.
Yes,
Tico is immune to the Roni.
And that's what Alex Jones has been talking about for years. And I know I don't know how people feel about the guy, but he's been speaking about this shit, shoving marbles up his ass doing so, but he's been speaking about it. And now all of a sudden we're talking about FEMA camps. And a lot of people, I guess, were thinking, nah, it'll never happen in our day. Oh no, it'll never. This is some Illuminati shit. And then now it's like, now we're talking about FEMA. And it's like, although we're not talking about FEMA camps, although we're not talking about martial law, we're still in the ballparks of it.
Are you kidding me? Governor Gavin Newsom mentioned martial law in a public address like 3 or 4 days ago. He was the first one to mention it, and I was in complete shock. My jaw dropped. I was like, "What the fuck did this guy just say on public TV?" You don't mention martial law. Because let me tell you something, if you read the goddamn disaster recovery manual, you don't mention shit like that in a public situation like this. And then after that, everybody else started mentioning that shit.
I think he did it on purpose just to panic people more. That way you can't really think about the shit that's actually going on around you. You're more or less scared about being herded up and thrown in camps for the most part. Because think about it. If somebody says a fear word, then you can't really think about the shit that's going on and the shit around you for the most part, because you're more worried about being herded up. So you're going to stay at home. You're going to do all this shit to avoid being herded up for the most part. You see what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be shocked if he actually mentioned that on purpose, just to incite more fear.
And of course, anyone who could survive this, they'll just round them up, and it's all about money and control. They just want money and control. And if they have men dumbed down and weakened and frightened, then there is no hope for this against us. Your only hope
just
is
answer.
Like, think about it. How many men and let's just say in the United States alone, how many men are actually MGTOW men, red pill men, or men, better bachelor men, basically, or whatever you want to call yourself, any mixture of that? How many?
Maybe 5%.
Oh shit, they're gonna be now.
I say 5%
now after this shit.
5%. So the rest of the men are pretty much cucks and simps.
Three in every 100.
How you going to get protection when you got a bunch of cucks and simps running around?
Well, hold on. So when you said that the fear porn started essentially, by him saying that on purpose, there's other things that are going on.
I think he basically did it to stroke the flames even more, kind of like throwing gasoline in a fire.
Oh yeah. But I'm saying there's other things that you guys need to look at as clues, right? So look at your local distribution centers, right? You're not locked into your house yet. That time is coming, guaranteed. So we're all over the map, right? Everyone who's listening, and we're all over the map. So we can come back and report in to each of us and say, okay, yeah, this is what I saw. Okay, here's what I want you guys to look at. We got empty store shelves, right? Because they're saying there's an influx and everything like that. People are panic buying. That was true initially. But right now what's going on is trucks are waiting to be loaded outside of distribution warehouses. They're purposely slowing down the system.
Now the stores are actually putting certain limited supplies out, so they think that they're sold out now. So they'll come out and you'll see somebody restock the shelves all over again, basically.
Yep.
So they're controlling the supply. So
let that swirl around in your head a little bit, because what's going on right there is not only did they make you fearful, but now they're going to create a what do you call it? A void.
A void, or a hole in the market, or what they call that when you supply and demand. A hole in, a supply and demand. What the fuck is it called? A supply and demand.
Inequality in supply and demand. It's an inequality.
Hey, Double I.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Double I. I have a question.
Yes.
What do we do with the Chinese when this shit's over with?
Not a damn thing.
Here's the thing: the landscape. Remember how I keep on the last two live streams? You know how I keep slamming to everybody? The whole landscape has changed. The landscape has changed. You guys are not there yet. You guys aren't seeing the pieces fall because they're still up in the air for you. The pieces are still rising for you. So you don't see the trajectory in which they're going to fall. I'm telling you to start looking at those trajectories in which those pieces are going to fall. The landscape has changed.
This is why Tico leaves the country, so he can avoid those trajectories from falling on him.
Right. But for those of us who can't leave the country and have to watch that trajectory, your vision and your focus is to not lose your wits about you.
Yeah, if you're in the Title 4D, you can't leave.
Correct.
Yeah, there's nowhere for you to go anyway. I can't go south to the border. Border's locked up for a change, actually. Can't go west because there's a big old thing called the Pacific Ocean there, and I don't know if I'll get to where I need to get to anyway. Can't go east. Pretty sure people will start panicking if I start heading east to go to Nevada or Arizona, two states Nevada's already shut down. And Arizona, I think, is the most, all of them, because they have the fewer cases. But it's I think we honestly should just be like Arizona, just, kind of chill the fuck out. If what we're dealing with is what we're actually dealing with, again, they wouldn't be doing half the shit that they're doing. Again, I'm praying, dude. I'm literally praying and reading the Bible. Okay? I'm literally thanking Jesus and having everyone, I'm spreading the message of Jesus as much as I can because it's love. Because I love everybody as much as possible. Some people, they joke and say I hate everyone. That's a joke, but I like to say I love everybody. I want to see everybody do as well as possible. And it just seems to me that people are going against their own best interests, going against their own rights, going against their own well-being because they're afraid. They're using these words like martial law, and again, it's like what Double I said. Was he mandated to say that? The way
Look,
that
Sherm,
you did.
but Sherm,
Actually,
Sherm, if we're dealing with the Spanish flu here, then everything is justified. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's not the Spanish flu though. That's the problem.
I'm talking about something that's to that level.
Well,
I
it's
know
not
you're
to
being.
that level.
I know you're being.
It's
I know
not to
you're
that
being.
level.
Well, he's being hypothetical, and I understand that. But the thing about it is, in modern day, we would be able to handle the flu a lot more efficiently than we would back 100 years ago, and that's all I'm simply saying.
You know, and you know, because you guys make really compelling arguments, and honestly, like they're so compelling that they have to be looked at. You know, you'd be remiss if you didn't look at it. You know, but at the same
But I see it from your point of view too, because it's like you have to be concerned, and like as a leader, I'm a father, so I obviously don't want my son going to school right now until we get things on, a better perspective on not only what we're dealing with, but
so we get a better grasp on what we're dealing with more so than anything.
Exactly, and we could get a vaccine and some drugs or something.
No, I see that as an overreaction. The only people in a school environment that need to be on quarantine are the older ones. I'm telling you, dude, this is an age.
Dolls and games. The Spanish flu was here for 18 months, almost 2 years. The Spanish flu has affected us from 1918 to 1920.
Damn.
I mean, like right after World War One.
How much did the population drop?
Well, by 18 million people.
Yeah, only about 18 million people. Only about 18 million people.
Well, back then that was 5% of the population.
Yeah, I know.
And right now with this particular virus that is a pandemic, it's
only 4% in the whole entire world because it actually affected more countries, but it's only 4%.
Okay, well look at the cases that we have now, right? We have 7 billion people in the world, and we have a little over 300,000 cases. So, I mean, help me with the math and percentage there, but we're not even at 1%, and yet we're freaking out like it's the end of the world, and it's nowhere near that. It's just that we need to take our precautions for, so we can study this and testing and things like that. That's when
Here's the problem
we
with the
start
numbers,
thinking
Sherm.
about Agenda 21 and shit like that, because it's like, how do I trust these people? How do I trust these people?
Go ahead.
The numbers are small right now, but they're going to jump. I hate to tell you, and I'm not trying to scare you guys, because I'm not trying to spread their fear
because of stupid people that don't like following the fucking rules and think they're invincible and shit like that. But the sad part about that is, even these young people that's running around here acting stupid, they can actually carry it to their loved ones, and they will die.
Correct.
Like, come
They're
on
not
now,
taking
guys.
enough precautions. People are just not taking enough precautions. That's the problem.
There's no guarantee that they will die. There's obviously that mortality rate we speak of, but
I'm saying if they take it to their older relatives, they have a higher chance of dying.
Exactly, and you don't want that. Oh, go ahead, that guy.
Or even young people with respiratory problems.
But the difference between this and the flu is that with this, you can be reinfected, and we're also, and yes,
you can be reinfected with the flu too.
Yeah, that's what this. See, this don't like all viruses.
Like a good example of that is the best way I can describe this to you, because I work in micro. A lot of people that used to run out and get the flu shot earlier in the year, we say in micro that you should wait a little bit longer. That way, it lasts throughout the whole entire flu season. But people will run out and get the flu shot and then be wondering why they got the flu on the back end, or they'll get the flu shot or because they didn't pick the right strands of flu that it could possibly be this year. Now they have another strand of the flu. It's just fact. No, it's not. It's not the fact that it mutated. It's the fact that they picked the wrong strands of flu that they thought was going to trend this year. So if you got the flu vaccine and you got the flu sometime after the flu vaccine, it's only because it's the wrong strands that they thought were going to trend, or you might have ran into somebody else with a different strand that they didn't put in that vaccine for the most part. It's just facts. That's how it works.
Crazy.
They literally guess what flu is going to be for that year to put in the flu vaccines. They literally take a fucking guess.
Guessing game.
So, like I said, I think the Agenda 21 angle should be looked at because it's relevant, but also at the same time, if we look at this whole Agenda 21.
Oh, Sherm, that's 4%, by the way. With that number, you said you're not good at math.
Okay.
Just 4%. I was holding on to that for a while I was saying that.
I believe you. I'm just like, okay, I believe you. I don't know.
I'm just saying that
4.2 to be exact.
There's more efficient ways to go about achieving these objectives rather than doing this bullshit. Like,
well,
if they
the problem
really
with that though is there's more efficient ways. They'll be more blatant. They're trying to do it they're basically using cloak and dagger to do it for the most part. Is what I'm trying to tell you. What we're trying to tell you.
You can't tell the chickens that they're chickens. If you tell the chickens that they're chickens, they're not going to want to be chickens. You got to tell the chickens that they're kings, each and every one of them.
They were kangs in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
I swear to God, man, they were kangs. Yeah,
right. And they have to have a choice
because in
every
Egyptian
step.
TV,
they have to have a choice. More than one.
Over on Egyptian TV, they tried to film a fucking personified version of the virus. Looks like Pinhead from fucking Hellraiser, but yeah, this is crazy shit they're doing.
Oh yeah, but the sad part about that is they really wanted to wipe people out very quickly. Like I said, all they got to do is use SARS-CoV-3, and it'd be a wrap for a majority of the population.
Well, they probably won't do it now, but they'll probably do it 10 years from now.
It'll probably come up again where like it'll be SARS-CoV-3, or they'll try to make it SARS-CoV-2 basically. They'll try to say SARS-CoV-2.
I'm just kind of in
and everybody will be, because we'll say it's SARS-CoV-2 again. Everybody won't, because because let's just say a good example, we get over this and we beat this shit, okay? So when they come up with when they put out SARS-CoV-3, they'll say it's SARS-CoV-2, and we won't think very much about it, and we'll believe that we can beat it. Then everybody's getting wiped the fuck out. You see what I'm saying? You got to ease the people into this shit.
And that's exactly what they're doing. And I'm kind of in the middle of two extremes, to where it's like, all right, I'm doing my part. I'm keeping my distancing. But at the same time, on the other hand, it's like, come on, guys. I clearly see through this bullshit that you people are doing. I just see through it.
And the sad part about that is, like Sherm was saying in the last live stream, they were literally telling people what they should go out and buy, because they tell them, oh, well, this will cure the COVID virus. And they were literally saying the shit on the news. And this is why we got the mass hysteria where people are buying toilet paper, Lysol, and
N94,
water, and all this other crazy shit.
I gotta get it
because the news
is gonna blow up. The whole planet's gonna blow up. There are asteroids out there. Yellowstone's gonna blow up. Seals are on the attack, and not Navy SEALs, but like
I am immune to everything. I got an N94 fucking mask, and it is gonna keep me from nuclear blasts.
Let's look at that angle for a minute, though. Let's just look at the whole conspiracy angle for a minute. If we look at this angle, who's winning? Because it's not rich people. Who's winning?
Because technically, people buy and sell debt all the damn time. Rich people buy and sell debt all the damn time, or they buy and sell bonds or debt and shit like that all the damn time.
Right now we just injected $5 trillion into the stock market, and who's and we're in the middle of QE. Who's winning?
So I got a hypothetical question for you, that guy.
I'm listening.
And it has to do exactly with what you're saying. Who's winning, right? I think this will help you answer that question. So hypothetically, as you see these pieces are thrown up into the air because of all of this is happening, I'm going to ask you that question directly now, right? I'm going to ask you, how do you see the trajectory of those pieces falling? And when they fall, what kind of landscape do you see on the other side of this shit?
Honestly, man, I don't have enough insight to make an educated guess, man. I got questions. I don't have answers.
That's the best, dude. That's the best.
That's very logical.
That is the best you could do sometimes with everything. That's because that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm also in the understanding that I have very little control here. I can only control myself. And
there you go.
So
right there.
My thing is just to live in the here and now. Take each minute as it comes,
world as much as you humanly possibly can,
and that's all I can do.
Yeah, traverse through the world as much as humanly possible.
Go outside, try to talk to people, and try not to get shot in the face by my fellow military veterans, who I hope they didn't give PCP water to before they sent them out to raid the villages like they used to back in the day.
And so both of you have very excellent and relevant answers to the question. Here's the thing. It's up to us how those pieces fall and how that trajectory changes our normal life. because right now everybody's panicking, right? In a sense, like we know shit's happening. Look at just look at who it's affecting, how it's affecting them. And if you don't fall within that category, then there's no reason for you to panic. If you're an old person, I'd be worried if I were you. Like I said, you might want to call your grandma and you might want to call your grandpa.
True story.
Just
real
facts right now, okay?
Yeah, 'cause I actually called my grandmother before I left the country yesterday.
What the situation may have been between you and whatever the situation.
Is MGTOW in the wind anywhere? Is anybody in here that's been in the military?
Yeah,
sure.
And I'm a mercenary.
So sure. All right, well, Tico. So I've been noticing that there's been a lot of movement of equipment and different assets, like the little trains.
You've seen them on the trains where they've been carrying howitzers.
They do that all the time. Don't worry about
that. They do that all the time, but you're seeing that.
Here's when you need to worry: when you actually see when you see 4 or 5 gunships flying over your sky. That's when you need to panic.
Here's when you need to worry. When you see those ships flying away from your city talking about blast radius, that's when you need to worry.
So, but this is
now I'm talking about. Because there's a couple states that actually, before I think KC got shut down and Missouri got shut down, they had gunships that actually flew over their city at a very low altitude before the shit pretty much went to hell.
So how does because I've been seeing different things, I've been seeing a lot of videos of these tanks being moved around by the hundreds.
Some of it is fear porn. Some of it is they actually need to the stupid fuckers in New York dancing around like a bunch of fucking chimps when they're supposed to be at home. You're gonna get martial law called on you. But they're not like boots to asses, foot on neck. They're just like disperse. You guys gotta, this is
be
human
ready
health
just in case shit goes down, basically.
Yeah, basically. And really and truthfully, the National Guard are being. I know how ridiculous it sounds. We're going to war with the virus. Send the National Guard, not doctors. But it's the whole point of it is to try not to strain because exactly. It's not the virus. In certain areas in the hospital, it's COVID-19 horror, but the horror is not from the virus. It's people breaking their arms, doing stupid shit, people getting spikes up their ass, people getting into car accidents on the freeway when there's no one on the freeway. It's stupid shit that people are doing because they're either panic buying or frenzy about all this
fighting over toilet paper in the store. That was a popular one. Fighting over water in the store. People got injured or damn near killed or maimed. You got the people fighting over Lysol in the store. The one lady bashed the one lady in the head with a Lysol can.
Yeah, did you have a question for me, that guy? I'm sorry.
Yeah, because you military and you, Tico, you're military too. What reasons do we have to move 100 tanks?
To actually position them just in case shit happens.
Well, I got one.
Matter of fact, they move tanks on a regular basis, but people don't realize. If you ever drive,
are you talking about the train? Is he talking about the train with the tanks on it?
Check us out.
Right.
Double lot.
What reasons do we do that?
I got that reason.
To basically put them in position just in case. Some of those tanks might be shipping out to the Middle East. Some of those tanks might be positioned just in case martial law needs to go down. Some of those tanks might be going to another country who actually needs some supplies. They ship them all the time like that. Like I said, when you see the gunships,
right.
Go ahead.
You're right, but you're only half right because they just announced about a month ago that the war in Afghanistan is officially over. So they're bringing all of that shit back. You know what I'm saying? So you're half right. But
a lot of it,
I forgot about them bringing shit back from conflicts, basically too.
And a lot of it,
the U.S. is pretty good about leaving shit over there too. A
lot of it is a training. They would move, like, say for instance, this fort will call up that fort and be like, hey, we need this amount of tanks here for whatever kind of training we need to do. And I understand why people especially would get freaked out now, but it will be pretty hard for them to deploy tanks off of a train like that and then get them all mobilized because you got to think about gas, you got to think about who's the operator, you have to actually have the people to man them. and it would be pretty risky to kind of deploy all your tanks in that scenario anyway, because you would just practically be putting all your payload out there in the front lines.
So Sherm, how many bases do we have in this country that actually have enough space to hold that many tanks?
Too many to fucking count, honestly.
Yeah, true story.
We have bases all
Plus,
over
you
the
can't
world.
talk about it right now anyway. So
yeah.
Outside of that,
a good example of that is the 9/11 air base that they were talking about closing in Pittsburgh, near Pittsburgh, just outside Pittsburgh. They actually kept it open just for this reason.
All I could tell you is that there's a lot. There are bases in places that you would never think that. Oh shit, that's a military base. Yep, that's a military base. Now I can't confirm. I can't tell you any locations or whatnot, but I could tell you that they move equipment all the time.
So I think every one is right. I think every one of their explanations is right. The reason being is if you look at the news before any of this was announced or before any of this shit hit the fan. I think we were talking about in one of the streams how I saw on the news of a UN base, a United Nations base with armed vehicles in Virginia or right outside of DC. And I was saying, why the fuck is the UN bringing armored vehicles on my soil, on US soil? Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. That's that part. Not hostile, but a foreign army on my soil, on U.S. soil. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that's what I was talking. And that's what I was talking about with the whole entire. Yeah, the sad part about that. That's what I was talking about with the whole entire thing. If they really want to take your guns, they're probably not going to send their troops to do it. They'll send foreign troops.
They're going to send another one.
They'll send basically the French or the. I joked about that. It's like they'll just send the French, or they'll send the Italians, or they'll send the
because it won't be
British,
it
or
won't
they'll
be
send
a constitutional
the
act.
basically do it.
It won't be a constitutional act. It'll be an act by some entity like the UN, a foreign entity, a third party.
Yeah, because like anytime when they need to disarm somebody, they're not going to use their own troops to do it. They're going to use foreign troops to do it.
And remember, they were posting openings for disarmament officers.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. So during time of crisis, there's not going to be any movement of vehicle. That's not, they're not trying to do that during the time. For this agenda, whatever placement for those vehicles needed to be done, we're already done.
Yeah, they've already strategically placed all those
that's
vehicles.
Just fear porn,
and they basically know where all they're going.
I don't bring up the things I bring up, try to scare anyone. I just want people to be aware of not only the history of this governments around in general, but to just be aware about their surroundings and just try to use common sense as much as they can, because with this new generation, it's really hard to get common sense across some of these guys. They don't understand what it means to fight for your rights and fight for freedom. They think they do, but they don't have a single fucking clue.
It's kind of like with what Gundam said in his one video. He goes, today racism is you don't date black people, you're racist. Oh, you're a white girl, you don't date black people, you're racist. Back in the day when his grandmother was growing up, you're not white, you're getting arrested. That's the difference between the racism nowadays and the racism back in the day. If you're not white, you're getting arrested, basically. Versus if you don't date black men, you're racist. You see what I'm saying?
And again, what is the point of releasing prisoners? Again, like, what's the point of releasing them, but then holding me against my constitutional rights? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So these criminals could go out and do whatever they want, but if I try to attempt to do the same thing, then your major problem is with me, not the criminals who may or no one knows. Again, no one knows who may or may not.
Oh, hell yeah, they are. Like, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if they're releasing the criminals, because you also got to take inspiration too. Like the Jeremy Piven's guy, who was actually arrested for like robbery. He had rape charges, and they released him. Now he's a model now. Like women like those type of men, so I wouldn't be shocked if they're using them to repopulate the fucking earth. Like, like women like that type of man. Shit, Charlie Manson's a good example of that. He had a bunch of bitches following him, and he got a bunch of bitches writing him still. Till he is he still left? He still got a bunch of bitches writing him.
That's because
He's got a bunch of bitches that was writing him until he did.
You understand what that is, right? Like why women are turned on by that.
Yeah,
it's because we have understanding of violence, but not really an understanding of and gore, but not really of like conflict and conflict resolution. That's why you can have school shooters who shoot a bunch of people for no reason. There's no conflict, only perceived in the minds.
Or some of them will say, "I wanted to be like that last guy that did a shooting." Like, what the fuck, dude? Why can't you just be your fucking self?
Exactly, and that's violence. That violence is programmed in us, but we don't have a good way of expressing it. I mean, it's more so just programmed.
Well, most people I talk to around my area, they I wouldn't say not every single one of them, but for the most part, almost every single one of them, for the ones who are just like gung ho about it, but very few people are on board with martial law. They're just not on board with it. They're barely on board with this shit, which is why you see so many, like, I wouldn't say so many people, but you do see quite a few people out there walking, meaning, and kind of trying to go on through life, you know, like it's life. And then I go to the next thing where I ask this question a lot, and I've been asking it a lot ever since this started. And it's not to prove any point, it's not to confirm anything, to get people kind of thinking beyond the cases they keep shoving in your face on a routine basis. But the question I keep asking, I keep getting the same answer no matter what or who I ask or where I'm at in this particular city. But the question keeps on coming up, same. Do you or anyone you know has the coronavirus? And of course the answer I keep getting back is no.
We're talking personally. We're not talking about somebody you know in public. We're not talking about some store. We're talking about personally that you know in your immediate circle around you for the most part.
Exactly.
Like the only person I know that got coronavirus is a doctor who used to send specimens to the lab. I don't know him personally, so he technically doesn't count. I don't hang out with him, and nor do I actually go to his house, nor do he come to my house. It's just that simple.
So most of the reason why I say is fear porn, because a lot of cases that I keep seeing are cases that the media tells me who has coronavirus.
Could that be?
And I'm not saying that proves anything. I'm just saying, like, isn't that mighty convenient that I don't know anyone?
Know anybody who actually has coronavirus?
You don't know anyone, but you know it's like this guy got it, and then this news person's father was struggling with it, and they finally lost their lives from it. And it's like now every old person that dies, it's no longer some other condition or what. Now it's the coronavirus. So you see how the fear is just kind of like thrown out there instead of we handling this.
Yeah,
exactly.
It is, but in a sense, because it is such a I don't want to say targeted, because it's an acute set of symptoms. It is very dangerous because I'll be honest with you. My parents are old enough to be affected by this, right? So if they get the virus and for some reason my mother or father has an adverse effect, breathing, they're going to need one of these ventilators. And from what I'm seeing in Italy, it's a fact that anyone who comes into the hospital with a high set of symptoms, okay, so we're talking about the extreme end. We're not talking about the mass population who gets it and they don't get any symptoms from it and that sort of thing, right? So we're talking about those people with the pre-existing conditions that meet the criteria and have an absolute issue with respiratory or whatever other issues and stuff like that. And then they end up in a hospital and then you got to get on a respirator. So what they're showing in Italy in their I believe I could be getting
They're
the
actually
information
picking the
wrong.
young over the old if they run out of
No,
ventilators.
hold on a minute. So in their best hospital in Italy, okay, they're saying the older patients that have come in, we put them on a ventilator. We hope for the best. Every couple of hours, we flip them upside down so it's easier on their lungs so they can breathe. So the hardest hit cases that they have that make it to these ventilators, and they don't have enough for all of them, but the ones that do, only one, she said with a very solemn, voice, only one survives. So we don't even know if we're doing the right thing.
And the sad part about that, on top of that whole entire, we don't know we're doing the right thing. If a younger person was to come into the hospital behind, let's just say you're Italian. If a younger person was to come in behind your parent, your parents or your grandparents, they would actually choose that younger person over your grandparents to actually get that ventilator because he would be a more productive citizen, no matter what the fuck he does or
and a higher chance of survival is given to the younger person.
Yeah. They'll pretty much take away that respirator or the ventilator off your parents and put it on that young person.
That's how serious this shit is. So when they tell you to, lock down in your house, fucking lock down, man. You got to worry about our older population.
But the sad part about that is we got a bunch of Gen Ys and millennials running around here like they're untouchable and shit like that.
And that's something I also don't want to imply. That I don't want to say things like, do you know, to make you think that this virus isn't real. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is take your precautions, be as careful as you can. But in my personal, and this is just my personal opinion, some areas we're over exaggerating. But when it comes to our elderly, when it comes to having to maybe reinvigorate some of these public areas that we use without hand sanitizers, that we probably need to get hand sanitizers in these places, or you probably need to keep your sick ass home if you're sick. We need to reinvigorate some of this stuff so we don't have this kind of when another pandemic comes around like this, we are better equipped to handling it, because despite the fact that we were very unprepared for this, we are actually handling it a lot better than most countries, even though we're like
behind the gate.
We're like, we're very behind the gate, and that's the reason why we're fourth in terms of cases, but we're still seeing a lot of people survive from this. So I definitely don't want to go into this going doom and gloom. I'm getting that from the people who are taking this shit and blowing it out of proportion. And then the flip side of the coin, the people who don't take it seriously at all. So it's like,
you have to look at the countries who have been successful in containing this. You look at Taiwan. You look at
but the thing is though, this is the United States. We don't give the thing that you fail to realize, that guy, is this is the United States. We don't give a fuck what they're doing. We're going to do what we do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the fuck they're doing over there. It doesn't matter how successful they're over there. We're going to do it our way because we want to be better than everybody else in doing it, because we want to be the first to do this, basically.
Like, try telling a guy who has high anxiety right now. Tell a guy with high anxiety right now, stuck in his apartment, who was making bank just a week ago, and now he's sitting around wondering, am I going to be able to pay my rent? Am I going to pay my... I understand we're in the middle of a pandemic, but goddamn, I got to get back to work. I got to do something. I got to pimp. I got to hoe. I got to something. How do you tell that guy, oh, look at Italy. Look at what Italy's going through, and he can't fucking eat. He doesn't have anything to feed family with. He doesn't have any money to put clothes on his back or put clothes on his children's back, because we're so worried about what's going on over in Italy or what could potentially be happening here. And it's like, I get it, but I can only stand here afraid for so long until eventually I've got to get back to we've got to get this country back. Otherwise, what the fuck? We are not going to go back. All that shit that we think we're going to go back to, that we took for granted for so many.
We're definitely not going back to that shit. It's going to be.
We're not going back to it.
It's going to be a changed landscape. But on the flip side of what Sherm said, on the flip side of what Sherm said, what Sherm said is, you also got to take in consideration too, the American mentality is different than other countries' mentality.
It's pragmatic.
We're about ourselves. Like, we're about ourselves. We only give a fuck about ourselves. Like, you'll hear people say this shit all the fucking time. Matter of fact, we had a person the other day that used this line. I don't give a fuck what's happening over there in the world. I don't care what's happening over there in the world. I only care about what's happening in my world. You see what I'm saying? So
and it's not that I don't care. It's not that I don't care about what's going on over there. It's just that.
Well, no, I'm saying
there's only so much. I know. I know what you're saying, but it's like
that though, and say stupid shit like that. Or my favorite line is, "So what's the price of tea in China got to do with me? Everything, motherfucker. Every fucking thing. The price of tea in China got to do everything with you."
But this what I'm saying though, like I understand how we look, how we as Americans won't tolerate a loss of movement or a loss of freedom, and I get that because we've been bred and indoctrinated to believe in freedom.
But the sad part about that guy, we're so scared right now that we would pretty much give up any fucking thing in our panties, like it's the Teddy Pendergrass concert.
And you know what? I agree with you, but also at the same time, if we look at these two countries who've actually been successful in,
but the thing is,
that's
not the American way. We want to do it our way. That's the problem. We don't do it everybody else's way. We want to do it our way.
Voila.
And that's the problem.
Right, Duzang?
Voila. That's the problem.
We want to do it. We want to do it our way. That's the problem. We don't care what Taiwan did because like people are saying, look how Taiwan handled this, or look how South Korea handled this. We're like, oh, fuck them. We're doing. But the thing is though, we don't give a fuck what they do. We want to do it our way. We've never done anything the way that another country has done it. We do it our way all the fucking time. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what any other country is doing. It doesn't matter what works in that country. We want to do it our way. We want to do it the American way.
All those countries you're naming, people flee by the millions to come to America. Why is that?
Well, South Korea, not so much.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, I think that some of this, even if this virus is real, it's creating a placebo effect where, like it's happening to me too. Where I'm constantly checking my head, like, oh, do I have a fever? Oh, is that little scratch in the back of my throat? Is that something? It's like they always want you to be on edge over, and it's like it could be all in your head. They could be just fucking with us with some of this shit, because a lot of this. We can't confirm anything. Now they're saying, oh well, the regular flu could be mixed up with this, and it's like it never fucking. This is just like 9/11.
Not too long ago.
This is just like 9/11.
We might be confusing this for the regular flu, or we might be confusing this for SARS, or we might be confusing this for MRA'S, or we might be confusing this for rhinovirus, or we might be confusing this for enterovirus. Like, think about that. There's like a panel of fucking things that it could possibly be, and we're saying it's this. Meanwhile, back at the ranch is this.
My thing is,
so now motherfuckers is dying from everything else, and they're trying to see something that is not. So now people are dying because you gave them the wrong treatment for the shit.
And there's still so many other things that are killing us. that are 10 times more scarier than this coronavirus. Which, by the way, just listen to how it sounds. It sounds bad. Coronavirus, COVID-19, and it's like cold 2019 is. Why are you trying to hype this thing up to make it seem it's literally Armageddon? It's like, again, the media there, dude, make no mistake about it, there is a lot of fucking people in the media making a lot of money right now off of your panic and your fear.
Yeah, definitely. People make money off of panic and fear all the fucking time. Shit, I could think of 5 ways right now to make money off of y'all panic and fear. Am I going to do it? No, I'm not a sick individual like that. I am a sadist, but I'm not sick enough to actually do that shit to people, if you know what I mean. But I could think of 5 different ways to make money off of this shit. I've even thought about marketing shirts for coronavirus. Like, this is the shit that actually pops into my mind that these sick individuals would actually come up with.
Ronnie.
Like my favorite was that one nonprofit organization that was saying we're doing this for the troops, and they just pocket all the fucking money and didn't give anything to the troops. Motherfuckers do this shit all the fucking time.
Oh yeah,
for the love
I know exactly who you're talking about.
But with all these different variables going on, right? Like, don't you? I mean. So if we are on the safe side, we have to risk it being bullshit if we are on the safe side. But if we don't, then we risk this potentially becoming the Spanish flu. So it's like, what's the proper course of action?
Part about that, no, what you're actually leaving out, that guy, is if we actually stay on the safe side, we risk losing some of our rights and our once rights, and, like, you know, some of our
Yeah,
we
believe it or
lose some
not,
of our
there are
rights
worse
basically
things
if we risk it too
than
much.
than
If you see what I'm
abusing the
saying?
Spanish flu.
Because
Linda,
that's what's at risk right now. Our rights are at risk right now.
Don't you think it's strange that we just went from the highest employment rate, and in the span of a week, we went to the lowest unemployment rate?
Yeah, like the nigga, it went from niggas being at the all time low, black people unemployment being at an all time low to now we're laying everybody to fuck off in bundles and shit like that, like a rapper throwing out money on the fucking stage.
Based off of what
And black people
exactly?
have like jobs that are essential now too, because they've got a lot of them have gotten educated.
So
that and a lot of people got kicked off of welfare too, so they had no choice but to get a job. That actually played into
like
the whole entire
essential now.
niggas getting that played into the whole entire niggas unemployment being low.
Hey, Tico. So, or in Double I, in Sherm, or in Roni too. All right. So, what exactly does due diligence look like?
You can't make people panic, but you got to do it in a way where people understand that this shit is real. But you can't just throw shit up and hit the fan all the damn time. You got to actually let people know. You actually got to come. It's kind of like when I talk about my children. Like when I get down to my children, I talk to my children and let them know. I don't talk to them from a place of like, power for the most part. I come down to their eye level and I basically let them know, look, this is what daddy's doing and you got to follow daddy's lead and this and this basically. And I explain it out to them very slowly, very, very calmly. And I actually tell them, this is how we're going to operate because because this is how the United States is actually working. We're going to be traveling for a while. Do you understand this? Yes, daddy. And I basically break out why we're traveling and the reasons why we're traveling. You got to do that to a mass. You got to do that to people for the most part. Unfortunately, we don't got the leader that can actually pull that off because he's kind of a bit bombastic. I like him and all, but when it comes to actually dealing with crazy stuff like this, he's not the greatest guy to actually do it.
Tico, and so let's just ask an even simpler question than that. If your name is Donald Trump, what does due diligence look like logistically?
I would put somebody else there that's actually got a much more level head to actually talk about the shit and just let them handle it. Or the press secretary. Who's the press? Oh no, never mind. The press secretary's not even a level-headed person either. Now that I think about it,
we're not talking about conjecture. We're talking about logistics, concrete.
No, you would have to put somebody there who has a level head to actually talk to the public, who the people who actually. It'd be like who. You would have to put somebody in a public eye to talk to the people in a calm manner, who the people actually see as somebody that they can listen to and look to for the most part, if you know what I mean.
All right.
And you know what's really fucked up? That guy would look like this. He would look like this. He would be the Surgeon General in something like this. And we don't hear no Surgeon General talking these days.
Yeah, no. Or it would be like the general. It would be like the general. It would be the Pentagon. Somebody like the Pentagon. Well, you probably don't want them talking, but like you would want somebody like a 4-star, 5-star general, basically telling you what's the goings on for the most part.
Dude, that's why you see Anthony Fauci up there. That's why you see Anthony Fauci up there with him.
Okay.
Okay.
So
do you know who that doctor?
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Due diligence. What does the proper course of action look like? That's what I'm asking.
It in a calm. That's basically like I said with my children. You do it in a calm, cool, collective manner. You basically tell them what's going on, and you lay it all out for them. Like I got children that range from all ages, so what I would tell my 6-year-old is different from what I would tell my 6-year-old, if you know what I mean, or my 10-year-old. So I would have to break it down for all of them so they can all understand it in simple terms for the most part. That way they're not panicked and they understand what's going on and they're not panic stricken and they're like, well, why are we flying today, Daddy? Like, I don't need my children to be crazy for the most part or acting crazy or acting paranoid.
Look at
how we want to talk to them calmly and nicely.
Logistics, though. I'm talking about logistically. Like, logistically, what can be done?
Technically, that's logistics because you need people calm as hell so you can actually keep people from doing stupid shit.
You got to put the ones that you're moving in a nice frame of mind before you move them.
Yeah, basically what I said with my children. You have to put them in the right frame of mind. That way, they're not going crazy or flying off the deep end thinking everything's the world. Like the sky is falling. Remember the sky is falling story? You don't want them thinking the sky is falling story, basically, is the best way I can put it to you. You know what I mean?
So once we take care of that particular take care of that particular checklist right there with the whole PR thing. So then what actions are undertaken once you achieve that objective?
Then you basically go through step by step all the things that you explain to the people what they need to, like a good example of my children. They basically go through the step by step on what we need to do to actually get from point A to point B safely in a calm manner for the most part. Like all my children have a task. When we all leave the country, somebody's in charge of this, somebody's in charge of this, somebody's in charge of this. So they all feel like they're important and they all feel like they're actually doing something and they're not thinking about the craze and hysteria for the most part. You see what I'm saying?
Here's what I do. When you speak of logistics,
I'm saying MGTOW the Wind's trying to get in. He's in the chat.
Oh, when you say logistics, I think of you have to have the proper information. Right now, it seems like a lot of us.
Because you can't have logistics without proper information is basically what I'm trying to tell you. If I tell my children this, this, and this, or it's the difference between if I tell my children, if I tell Kierna, look, Kierna, this, and this is what's going to happen. Okay, cool. Or if I tell Kierna, oh, we got to worry, we got to panic. Kierna's going to be frazzled. She's not going to be able to act in a proper manner that I need her to, for the most part. You
like
see what I'm saying?
my son,
that's the fundamental difference. You got to keep people calm so you can actually lay out the logistics for the most part.
My son was here this weekend, and if he would have seen me panicking over this, then what do you think my son would do? So the whole time I'm playing games with him, I'm making him laugh. I'm trying to do the things that I would normally do to kind of, you know, and so far I feel I did a pretty good job because, you know, when it comes to this whole stuff, I don't even talk about it. Don't even bring it up. You know, but you're talking about in terms of logistics, in terms of overall.
Do we lock the? We probably can't lock the whole country down. But what do we do?
Did lock the country down. We got people on. We got a list of people that can't come in the country. But unfortunately, nobody's following that fucking rule.
Beyond that, look at our basketball arenas right now. Look at our hockey arenas. Look at our bars, our restaurant. They are, for the most part, they are empty. My logistical approach from this is you do what you can. Let's not freak out. We don't have to include the National Guard and all this shit yet. If people want to go out there and be stupid, you take your chances. But remember, our administration told you that we are dealing with the pandemic. So you take your chances, wash your hands, scrub your ass, basically, and we will, you know, see on the other side. The last thing I want to do is panic because people are already going to face job losses. People are going to face job losses by took away their entertainment. Now I just took away their means of living. Now I just took away their money. Now I got these people really on edge. Okay? So I don't turn this into a big thing. I did what I had to do. I shut down all public areas until we figure out what we are dealing with. Then I come back to the people and say, look, people, this is what we're dealing with. This is how we handle it. There's no need for cause of concern. What I'd like for you to do is calmly go to any local grocery store you can, you know, get some supplies. I'm going to coordinate with the local grocery stores to ensure that people aren't taking too much. I also am going to coordinate with hospitals to ensure that we don't stock up on the hospitals. But for the most part, if you guys are good, if you're feeling good, then keep on doing what you're doing. We're taking our precautions. What we're going to do is we're going to have hand sanitizers. We're going to sanitize buildings. We're going to ensure that we defeat this virus and any other virus that comes along. That is the complete fucking opposite of what these motherfuckers are doing right now.
Yeah, legit. That's the complete opposite of what they're doing.
And in the president's case, it would be two words: his cabinet. Because under his cabinet is the Department of this, the Department of that. But if you involve the Department of Defense, we're really fucked. You know?
Yeah, because the sad part about that, like I was saying about the president, he's not exactly the best person to actually tell people things. And this is what got people up in arms. This is why you should get somebody who people are willing to listen to and people are willing to see. Because you kind of figure, look, most of the country, most of these SJWs hate Trump, so they're not going to listen to him. So they're basically going to spring break to rebel against them for the most part. Is how I look at it. You see what I'm saying?
Well, you know what? I turn 35 next year, so vote True Sherm 20.
Yeah. Listen to me, young people.
And the sad part about that is like The people that are doing this stupid shit are people who don't like Trump. So they're going out to go to the beaches. They're going out to go to the bars. They're going out to spring break to do all this stupid shit. You see what I'm saying? That's the discourse. But if you got somebody to actually speak,
listen.
Hang on. If you got somebody to actually speak that they actually like and respect and will actually listen to, because Trump's not the best speaker in the world. He's good when certain things are going down, like some war or some stupid shit. He's good for that. But you need somebody that's level-headed and actually can relate to people and actually get people motivated to actually care about their fellow man, to not buy out all the things in a fucking store and leave everybody else destitute for the most part. If you know what I mean.
If that's the first course of action, I'm embarrassed by being a fucking millennial, man. Like, that's some bullshit.
Because the sad part about that, most of the people who are acting stupid, doing the stupid shit, are millennials who are against Trump. That's just fact.
I can only control so
Millennial
many people.
and Gen Zs. Millennials and Gen Zs are the ones that's acting the most stupidest.
And why are people? You gotta ask yourself, why do people hate Trump so much that they will not listen to what he says?
Media.
You got to look at who taught them and how they were raised.
Media.
And this is why they're acting fucking stupid right now.
Yeah.
You can't get people to listen. You can't get people to. It's kind of like how I say when I say about the argument the one time in the live stream. If you have an argument and you give it to somebody who's not willing to listen, you devalue your argument.
Right.
Never try to push your argument onto somebody who's not willing to receive your argument.
Very good point.
Well, people are Tico, because people are so obsessed with validation now. They need to test their argument with literally every single person that they can. They just need everyone to hear what they have to say and what they think about, because they don't have they don't have that internal validation that to help them get through life. They need somebody. They need to go to spring break and see everybody disobeying in order to be like, I feel good about myself.
I view these people, the people that do this stupid shit, basically the same way how a parent would, like I perceive my two twins for the most part. They don't have, like Yam said, they don't have the self-validation. They don't have the internal validation to validate themselves. It's kind of like how, parents make their children.
When you give people too much,
hang on. It's kind of like when you're a parent and you actually take your children, you make them sleep in their own bed for the most part. You want them to self-soothe themselves. You don't want to coddle them too much because they'll end up sleeping in the bed next to you, and that's just some bullshit. Why do you want your children sleeping in the bed next to you?
Go to your bed. Me and your mom trying to fuck.
No, I mean like that. Though. I'm basically you want your children to learn how to self-soothe and be self-reliant for the most part. That's why you make them sleep in their crates, not their cribs. Their cribs and their beds basically, because you want them to be self-reliant and self-soothing for the most part. It's kind of like with these millennials. They don't know how to self-soothe. They don't know how to self-validate, and they know nothing about that because they were coddled for most of their fucking lives, and their parents were always up their ass or flying over the top of them to make sure they were fine. And they're the same group of motherfuckers that got participation trophies for every fucking thing. So this is the group of people who are going to do the stupidest shit in the world. Like I was telling you, there's a difference between latchkey kids and millennials for that reason, because latchkey kids went home by themselves, did everything by themselves. They were taught to self-soothe. Millennials, on the other hand, they had everybody up their ass or hovering over them to make sure that nothing happened to them. Yeah. It's basically what it is.
I have a video.
What it is on a government level for the most part. That's what it is on a government level.
Yeah.
Well, they have
I have a video about this shit. Raise your children and don't let your children raise you. They're not.
Yeah, literally. Like I said, don't be your children's friend. Yeah. You want to be your children's parent. Let them get friends outside there, because when your children get older, they're not going to look to you as a parent. They're going to look to you as a friend. And the minute they disagree with your ass, they're going to be rebel like all hell. It's just facts.
Cut you loose.
Or cut you loose, or don't need you anymore, or want to talk shit on you, basically, or not want to listen to you. That's when they rebel to boast, because you treated them like they were your friends, or you treated them like they were your equals. Meanwhile, you're supposed to be their fucking parent. They're not your equals. They're your fucking children.
Yeah, respect your kids. I mean, don't lie to them and don't treat them like don't treat them like
kids. Hold on. I'm sorry, Yams.
Don't listen to what Yams said. Fuck that shit. Treat your children like they're children. Don't treat them like they're your friend. Because the minute they get older, the motherfuckers you treated like your friends are going to treat you like the enemy, or treat you like you don't know shit, because you treated them like they're equals all their lives. It's just facts.
I think that you respect them by putting them in their place and letting them know that they need to do what they need to be individuals.
They need to be individuals, but they still need to listen to your ass. We're not friends. Don't be half-having me. Don't call me man. Don't call me dude, or I'll blast you in your fucking face. It's that simple.
When it comes to children, respect should be a one-way street. It flows from you to fucking me.
Yeah, you do have to reiterate like good authority to, especially the boys, because that's the only way. Sometimes the boys will listen.
I gotta go. Hang on, right back. I gotta go check on one of my.
All right. But I'm getting ready to take off myself, actually. So that guy, man, it's been a good conversation with you, man, going back and forth, man.
No, I appreciate you, Sherman. I appreciate your different points of view too, man. I think every one of them should be examined, and I'm a Christian. It says test all things and hold fast to which is true, or hold fast to which is good.
I just got through telling you, brother. I'm reading that good book in that car, boy. I'm telling you,
because all things.
I am just trying to keep my spirit up. I'm just trying to, get people to just really think about what's going on, and even if we, get to the other side of this, to really analyze what we take for granted, because this could all just in a snap, just like a Thanos snap. This could all go away. All your electricity, all your way of life, it could all go away. And then would you like right now?
Going away.
Yeah, just be prepared and don't be afraid to let it go. And that's why I give myself to God, because these are just earthly possessions that really and truthfully a lot of human beings believe that they have some sort of inclination of control over. And so absolute power corrupts absolutely. So these people are going to try to mandate your entertainment too. So, my thing is that just be ready to let go, be prepared, love each other while you still have each other, talk to each other while you still can. You have no idea in this particular time right now how badly I would love to argue with the feminists, knowing that shit, there might not be a feminist there tomorrow.
There might not be one. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we took that for granted. All these little arguments, and don't take that shit for granted. Cherish that. Cherish everything that we do, honestly, because it could go away just like that. So that's my message, guys. Love each other, and we'll get through these tough times, man. That's all I got to say. So I'm gonna go ahead and head out, man.
All right.
The problem that I have with millennials.
Have a good one, Sherm.
All right, guys. Peace out, guys.
Peace out. The problem that I have.
Bye.
What I'm saying is the problem that I have with millennials is that we have a problem with just boys that are masculine, and just in general, and people act like violence isn't necessary. But if you look up the word masculine, the definition in Merriam, one of them is the propensity to be violent.
Mm-hmm. But you don't always need to be violent, though. That's the thing. To be masculine, because the sad part about the book on the sad part about alpha males, like they even looked at this with chimps and gorillas and stuff like that, is the alpha males in those groups actually do take time to raise the children. They don't just walk around beating up shit, throwing shit, slamming shit, tossing shit over here. They actually do help in the raising of the children.
Tico, anything in the wild that we respect. Any type of apex predator that we respect, every last one, whether it's a tiger, whether it's a fucking leopard, or anything that's a so-called apex predator, it fucks and it leaves.
Well, no, not the ones that stay in packs, troops, or groups, or congresses. They basically stay in those congresses. I mean, tigers are pretty much solitary. Lions are pretty much rolling a pride, so that's not going to ever change. The pride leader might change, but they're still rolling in our pride. Just like the wolves roll in packs. The pack leader might change, but they're still rolling that pack. You see what I'm saying? So, not all apex predators roll solo.
Not all of them, but I'm saying you're right. That was a bad argument. No bullshit, because lion is apex.
Crocodile.
But I'm saying you think about tigers, you think about leopards, said they fuck and then they leave.
Yeah, they're solitary animals. That's why. It's kind of like when the sea turtle basically lays eggs. It pretty much lays eggs and gets the fuck out of there. They lay so many eggs, just so they could beat the odds of one of them being killed off, or all their eggs being killed, or all their offspring being killed for the most part. That's why they lay so many eggs, because not only but so many of them are going to make it to the water. So basically, they practice survival of the fittest. When it comes to that, those ones practice survival of the fittest. The other ones basically are the family units.
So do we fall into that category?
In America, in America, we pretty much fall into the survival of the fittest when shit hits the fan. But we try to fake like we're the pride or the pack or these other people. Yeah. But when shit hits the fan, you actually automatically see our solitary wolf or tiger come out of everybody, and we trying to take up all the fucking toilet paper and take up all the fucking water because we don't give a fuck about nobody else, even our family members. Hell, I know motherfuckers right now that got a bunch of water at their house and their mom needs some water, and they're not willing to give their mom no water.
So so we think about it like this: so the difference between the apex predators that fucking leave and the ones that don't is the family structure. Yeah. So basically, we a
good example of that is a tiger by itself can actually beat up a male lion, hands down. But a pride of lions can fuck up a tiger. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Another good example of that is a jaguar. A jaguar is an apex predator. They roll fairly solo unless it's a cub rolling with the mother. They roll fairly solo, but like they're pretty much the apex predator of their environment. Like only other thing that could fuck with them would be another jaguar for the most part. They literally hunt crocodiles and alligators out of the fucking water and eat them.
Yeah, and you also see lions. Some lions get killed by larger herbivores, like moose and stuff, because they're not used to having them.
Or elephants, or
wildebeest, elephants. Yeah.
What's the hippos? There's another good example.
Tigers steer clear of,
they basically lip off and die for the most part.
So as far as humans is concerned, and I don't have enough knowledge to have an opinion, but do you think we as humans fall more into the solitary category?
Yeah, we fall like in America, because everything is about me. I want me, this me. We fall into the tiger category for the most part, but we will fake like we actually have this projection of family for the most part, up until shit hits the fan. Then it's fuck you, fuck them, fuck everybody else, fuck you, fuck my child, fuck that person. It's all about me. We get selfish when shit hits the fan, but when shit is peaceful and serene, we're family. But when shit hit the fan, you're my enemy for the most part.
Look at Dozang got a question. Shout out Dozang. I don't know how to say your name. I apologize, but does our species do better as a pack or as alone?
The sad part about that is we do better as a pack.
Like Patrice O'Neill said, there's different classes. There's women who are tigers who mess around with penguins, and then there's men who are lions who hand their lion baton over to a freaking bunny, and they give them all their power. and because they've been programmed to do that.
Yeah, and the sad part about that is humans actually roll better as a pack than they do solo.
He said, "Fuck the world."
And this is coming from a person who's been in a security firm who's rolling solo and like to roll solo by itself. A human being is better in a pack than they are in a group. But my thing with it is, I don't like rolling with other people because I don't want to take responsibility for another person while I'm on my mission for the most part. You see what I'm saying? While I'm on like or on a security firm, when I'm on a security firm call, I don't want to take responsibility for another person. So I'm gonna need like a good example. True Sherm said this about me in another live stream a while back. Tico's the type of person who expects you to carry your own weight. That's facts. So if the person with me can't carry their own weight, I don't give a fuck if you have a child. I don't care if you're pregnant. I don't care if you're a father at 19. If you fuck up, I'm either going to leave you or shoot you. It's just facts.
Shoot me, man, because I don't want to die. Just shoot me.
Because that's typically how I operate. Because I don't like rolling in groups. Because I've said this: if I didn't have children, I would be a solitary wolf. It's just facts. But because I have children, I can't be a solitary wolf. I'm actually indebted to actually making sure my children make it up so they can actually provide for themselves and be successful human beings off in the world. But if I didn't have children, fuck everything, fuck everybody. I'm going to be honest about that. That's exactly how I operate, because I don't like being in a group. I don't like groups, and I'm an introvert, so I don't like groups, and I like to take responsibility for myself, and I don't like taking responsibility for anything else. That's exactly how I operate.
I don't want to catch your Roni. Hell no.
Well, it's not that. I don't want to take responsibility for your downfalls or your shortcomings if shit was to fall down. Because I'm gonna be the first person to look at you, laugh, and walk away.
Oh,
Well, Tico, that's not right. He's a part of the team. Fuck him. He's weak now. Because I honestly believe, and I'll honestly believe in survival of the fittest, or what Darwin's theory or Darwin's law of, like, you basically gotta carry your own weight. If you can't carry your own weight, then you're weak to me, and I don't give a fuck about you. It's just facts. Like, and the sad part about that can actually go for my children too, because my family's known to pretty much like what they not isolate, what's the word I'm looking for, not isolate, when you kick, not quarantine, the word when you actually exile. My family's been known to exile members of the family.
Excommunicate,
exile. My family's been known to exile people in the family because we don't give a fuck. Because, like, a good example of that, the last time somebody's been exiled from the family is when they were going through a drug habit. Basically, we literally decided and all took a vote that this motherfucker, we not talking to this motherfucker gonna die and roll under a rug. We're not gonna crash their funeral. We're not gonna do any of that shit. We're not gonna give them no money. And the sad part about that is that right there made that motherfucker actually turn around and go, you know what? I love my family. I need my family. I'm gonna kick these drugs. When he was off those drugs for a right amount of time, and my grandmother decided that he can come back into the fold. Yeah, because, like, we all took a vote on this shit, and we literally voted if he can come back, and he could leave for the most part. And we weren't allowed to talk to him for the most part.
Tribe, ain't that a bitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, solitary.
He had to suffer that shit by himself, because the sad part about a lot of the addictions in America are based on the fact that there's always there's a person who needs and a person who's willing to give. Yeah, and there's the enablers for the most part. So if you're willing to actually put up with this person and continuously supplying this person, you don't even necessarily have to give him money. If you give him a place to stay, where the fuck do you think his money's going to? Them drugs. Those drugs. You see what I'm saying? So what you can't do is put a person up and expect them to actually be clean when in fact he's going after drugs. Sometimes you got to exile a motherfucker and make them realize that shit's real, and shit is really real, and we'll leave your ass for dead. It's just facts. And it's sad, but sometimes you got to do that.
Oh shit! It's 2 double eyes today.
Apparently, one of his phones were having a problem.
Got more than one page.
Four eyes.
I'm seeing double.
Yeah, one of his phones were probably cutting up.
One of his phones.
But yeah,
you guys are so technologically advanced.
Yeah, but like the sad part about that is I actually have 3 phones. But yeah, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, every time a civilization makes progress, it's always like sociocultural. It's always we band together.
Yeah,
but if you need to survive, then you need to know how to do that. You need to know how to be self-sufficient, because a civilization don't do nothing but collapse.
The best way to describe it to you in history is when the Pilgrims and all the people came from Europe to come to Americas, the Indians basically taught them how to farm so they can live and survive. And the sad part about that, they sucked at it so badly that they damn near died and killed themselves off in America.
They had to bring the Schweizers, the Germans to farm, and the Scans to come.
Well, no, I'm talking about when they came over and they damn near died that one winter because they didn't have enough supplies, because they didn't store up properly. They didn't do the stuff that the Indians basically taught them to do, and they damn near died. And they basically raided the Indian camp. They basically raided the Indians to get all their supplies for the most part.
Yeah, or you could get a really messed up situation, much like the Roanoke colony.
Yeah,
and that is, not good.
Erased. Yeah.
Hell, and Black Wall Street was erased from history. Shit. What? Rosewood was erased from history. I mean, you pick your poison. Like, if you're too nice to somebody, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to protect your own for the most part. And this is why I always laugh when I always talk about the Maroon Village in Jamaica. It's off so far out there that either A, you need to know how to get there, because ain't nobody gonna tell you how to get to the Maroon Village. And unless you're a Maroon, you have to know how to get there your fucking self, or you're gonna be lost in the middle of the cockpits. That's basically how they treat it. You either remember how to get to the village, or you could die in the middle of the cockpits. That's the type of people I grew up with.
Then you'll really be marooned.
Yeah, for real.
Legit.
and he fell out. But yeah,
Dude,
there he goes,
man,
that guy.
I'm so upset. I lost 2 fish today. 2 of them. You remember the one that I showed you
I love
guys
you dearly, Double I, but your fish ain't important in his life. Let me stop.
Dude, man.
Yeah, sink or swim, motherfucker.
Right, sink or swim, bitch. Sink or swim.
I am down $200, motherfucker.
I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound very, very mean, but I'm Tico, and I mean this with love. You shouldn't have dropped that much money on that damn fish. I'm sorry.
Yo, fish got that rowdy.
Shit.
Fish got that rowdy.
Tico would have went out and probably caught that shit for you, and you probably could have had it for free. I'm just saying. Tico would go fishing for that fish for you. I wouldn't have spent $200.
So cold.
Because I'm Tico and I'm a maroon. That's how I can be so cold.
What a maroon.
So, anybody want fish sushi?
Ew.
Damn.
That fish got that rowdy. Don't eat that.
Too soon.
Right? I wouldn't even be shocked if that fish did have coronavirus. He probably gonna get the rest of your fish sick.
Actually, there's not much left of it because by the time I came back, like,
you see what I'm saying?
half the fish was being eaten.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? That guy, his fish literally done ate his other fish because he was weak.
That's right. And I know who did it. I know exactly who did it. Look, see these 2 right there?
There's always that one person in the group that's willing to pick off everybody.
These are 2. See, remember I told you that I thought the sharks were vicious?
Wait, the goldfish are $20 now? Right, really? When did they go up in price? That's high as hell. When I was younger, goldfish were cheaper than that.
Look at this fish right here. How much do you think that fish costs?
30.
40.
No, I don't know.
That's $1.50 right there, man.
Oh,
yeah, so you pay too much money.
That's $1.
I would actually go.
This
I would
was
actually
twice his size.
I can get somebody to fish that for you, and we can get it for cheaper. Double I. If you're going to be paying all that fucking money, that's just fucking ridiculous.
In its mouth.
Shit, yeah, real shit. I'm not dropping 150 on the fish.
I can't.
Shit, I just found out goldfish are $20 now. Shit, when I was younger, goldfish were only like $5 or $2.
I'd be snorkeling and picking up these fish myself.
Oh yeah.
How the fuck are they that high? When the hell did goldfish go up to $20?
Goldfish?
Goldfish are $20 right now. They were like $2 or $5 when I was a kid. Yeah, they were $2 or $5 when I was a kid. What the fuck happened?
Goldfish are $20.
That's what MGTOW and the Wind said.
The operative word here is gold.
They're not really gold though. They just gold in color. Smart ass.
Some of them
I see silverfish all the time.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah, and the sad part about that is we were basically describing that to you right there, that guy. Couple of his fish literally ate off another fish because they were weak.
Yeah,
man, I didn't get none of that, man. I lost my signal. I didn't get nothing for the last 2 minutes. I was fighting with my internet signal.
Basically, what happened was Double I was crying about his fish being killed off. Basically,
that's why I had to go because I had to bury my fish.
2 of his fish literally ate off his other fish. That's pretty much American behavior for you, 101. Those 2 fish ate that one fish. He lost 2 fish.
2 fish that died. One. All right. So remember the one that I showed you yesterday? He had a big chunk taken out of the almost where the belly was.
Yeah.
So that one died, right? But he was like almost all eaten. The only thing left out of him was the spine. The other one was a smaller fish. And that guy was kind of like, this guy's buddy. So they were all together always. So I'm sure that he got injured in a fight and he lost like a fin and he had bite marks on the top of his fin.
Damn.
So he died.
I actually have a lot of fish. I have a lot of aggressive fish at that. I love cichlids. I got flower horns, red devils. Yeah, I got flower horns, red devils, buttercross, Jack Dempsey, red terror, blue terror.
Yeah.
Fucking I love aggressive fish.
Yep, me too.
And yeah, so I'm down with the fish tank, man. But you know what? I go through fish a lot, and I could always tell who's gonna die next because basically who has bitten off fins.
Yep, exactly. Whoever has nibble marks.
Yeah. The sad part about the sad part about that, y'all are talking about that right now. That's your base instincts of every American in America. We can all say we love each other dearly, but let some shit happen, we're gonna nibble off you and take your shit. It's just facts. It's kind of like how people on social media being like, I got this goal for this thing. There's a motherfucker that's watching that and is going to beat you over the head. You're going to be the first target because you're probably close to him. He's going to beat you over the head, take your gold, and take your fucking shit because that's how we fucking roll in America. It don't matter. We're not nice to each other when we want something. It's kind of like the famous song, the one song I was singing in the one live stream with Freeway. When my heat stops working and my heat starts working, I'm gonna rob me a person. Basically, that's basically America in a nutshell for you. I'm gonna take the dishes out your kitchen. That's pretty much America for you. That's American mentality for you. 101.
You know what? I like that analogy because there's a lot of, like, when you're dealing with fish like that, there's a lot of different variables that go into whose tank is it. Because like the way fish go is who's the boss of the tank,
or who's going to get along, who's going to get eaten, who's probably most likely not to be eaten with this fish. Who's less likely to get picked on? Who's going to get bullied? It's basically like high school when it comes to fish. Like, you don't put a bunch of gerbils in the same thing knowing that they might kill each other. You put them in there based on if they got along, if they grew up together for the most part. You don't put stranger gerbils in the same pen together. I mean, not pen or holding place together for the most part.
Huh.
That's a good way of looking at it, man.
That's America. That's America. That's America for you, 101. Because I always get mad when I see these goofy ass bitches on social media complaining that they can't get no water. But the minute I say order online, well, Tico, that's different. No, bitch, order online. It's the fucking same. Order on fucking line.
Well, they want to play the victim.
You can get water online. You can't get water in the store, but you get water on the fucking on online, and you can actually buy toilet paper and water. And you can cover your whole entire basis of $30. Buy toilet paper and water. And so you get it for free delivered to your house if you order it on fucking line. It's that simple. Like, quit complaining about not finding shit in store and actually find some fucking solutions to your fucking problem. Because nobody ever wants to find fucking solutions. Everybody wants to bitch all the fucking time, and they want to have something to bitch the fuck about. And meanwhile, while they're bitching about this shit, they can be ordered online just like I do or somebody else is doing to get their fucking water and their fucking toilet paper. It's just fucking facts. But nobody wants to fucking do that in America. They want something to bitch about all the fucking time, and they want to act like a bunch of bitch ass niggers and cry about it on social fucking media. That's the fucking way of the world. That's the fucking way of the United States for the most part.
I mean,
they want something to bitch about.
Hey, Tico, at the end of the day, man, like I don't tolerate complaints very much, but this the thing. If you ain't got no tissue, hop your stinking ass in the shower.
Yeah, but the sad part about that, they didn't even need to do that. They could have bought this shit online because all the online stores still had this shit. Instead of complaining about this shit on social media, you could have been on Walmart.com, Costco.com. What's the other one that Walmart owns? That major bulk one? Fucking Sam's Club. Or you could have been at Target ordering online. You could have got all this shit online instead of bitching about it on social media. It's just facts. They've been having this shit online for the longest time. It's just sickening to me to watch dumb motherfuckers complain about dumb shit that they can actually fix if they just sit there and think about it and actually take their dumb asses online. It's just facts. But nobody wants fucking solutions no more. They want to fucking complain about shit.
Most of them are doggone old folks, man. They are scared to be, dragged kicking and screaming into the future.
Yeah, and that's the sad part. Yeah, they basically wait till the last fucking minute to do stupid shit. They want to complain about it online. Meanwhile, I done posted links to Walmart.com, and motherfuckers still complaining about not being able to get toilet paper at the fucking I didn't even post pictures. I didn't even post pictures of me buying toilet paper and water in some of the Discord servers. And motherfuckers still complaining about this shit. I've even done it on my Facebook page. I've done it on my Twitter page. I've done it all over fucking social media. And motherfuckers still complaining about not being able to go to the store and get this shit. You can have it delivered to your dumb ass. Try some fucking times.
This is why I hate bitches so much, because they complain about not finding no tissue, but I don't see nobody buying that.
Well, no. It's not just women that are doing this shit. It's bitch ass fucking men doing this shit too. And that's the shit that pisses me off. You a fucking man. Get some fucking balls, bitch. Damn.
Man, I don't know how to use tree leaves, Dawzan, man.
I do.
Fucking millennials, man. I have my stinking ass in the shower when I run out.
Are you filming yourself? You're playing a game.
Hold on.
But yeah, I don't, because you go in the store, I still see rows and rows.
Just go right over to the ocean and get you some 3 seashells. That's all you need.
There's actually toilet paper in the stores now. Double I. We need to do all that. They don't need to go drastic. But the fact of the matter is, when it wasn't in the stores, you could have got this shit online when it wasn't in the fucking stores. Is what I'm trying to say. But nobody wants solutions. They wanted to just bitch about shit on a regular fucking basis. Both men and fucking women were doing this shit. All they did was bitch about this shit on a regular fucking basis. And I said, if you go online, you can get that. Well, I can't get no toilet paper store, nigga. Was you fucking listen to me? Take your punk ass online and order some fucking toilet paper, and you'll have it at your fucking house in about 2 fucking days, you dumb fuck.
That's because they're hoes. They're hoes.
It's just stupid shit.
They're hoes. They're just like a hoe. They're not no different. Male hoe, female hoe, they still hoes with a hoe mentality. Like, you can't fault a hoe for being a hoe. Yeah, we could criticize it, but like at the end of the day, like, you can't really fault a hoe for being a hoe. You just recognize the wholeness, and you know, and hit him with the Heisman.
Yo, Yam, how many?
Yeah, what's up, man?
How many cucks did you pass today? Oh, let me rephrase
Countless
that.
Cucks.
No, hold on. Let me rephrase that. How many fish with bitten fins did you see swim past?
They're nibbled on. And then at the same time, I saw sharks as well prowling in the same territory.
Clammy ones.
Yeah.
You want to know? You know what I love? You want to know what I love about sharks? Is where everybody always talks about how sharks are like this apex predator, but when a killer whale comes along, all the sharks disappear from that whole entire fucking area because killer whales have been known to kill sharks.
They
They torpedo and they eat them. Like, they'll jump on them, they'll nibble their fins, they'll nibble them so they can immobilize them, and they literally kill them. And half the time they don't even eat them; they'll just leave them dead because they're savage like that.
Yeah.
And you'll see a shark just float out, bellied up.
See, what we need to do is we need to start identifying the wholeness in this area, because I'm seeing dudes risking their life for the fucking vag. Well, hopefully she ain't got that corona. Shut your bitch ass up.
These are the same motherfuckers that will lick ass though. But you worried about her having corona? Seriously, nigga? Seriously, nigga? Seriously, you licking ass and you worried about coronavirus? Really, nigga? Really, nigga?
You better not have that Roni.
These bitches is fucking your nose.
Do not lick my ass with that Roni.
Like, come on now, man. You worried about coronavirus and you got niggas out here tossing salads like it's cool. Fuck out of here with my. Let a woman come in my face with some shit. I will slap that bitch's tasting in the next week. She come in my face talk about, you should eat my ass. Pow, bitch. Shut the fuck up with that bullshit. Fuck out of here with that shit.
It's people, because I see him on Facebook. I see him on my friend's Facebook. It's like people on Facebook, like, taking in these stray hoes so that they can, help them in these things and things of that nature. But it's
no
like,
way.
dude,
I thought that was a nightmare,
bro,
but it's real.
Yeah, dumb niggas is doing this shit. Dumb niggas is really doing this shit. When I say dumb niggas, I mean black, white, Puerto Rican, Chinese, Asian, all y'all motherfuckers. A lot of y'all motherfuckers is doing this shit. Y'all just picking up bottom feeders and shit, and y'all taking them on, and y'all taking on their fucking debt with you. It's just fucking facts. So don't act like you not.
And it's like anything for the vag, and that's the problem with this whole situation, is that people that you may like, well, this is a good thing actually, like people that you may have not known that were hoes, you're seeing their wholeness become exposed because of what they would do for the vag.
Oh, definitely. It's kind of like when people were starting to get mad when these women were exposing men, when these gay men were exposing men for being bisexual and shit. No, nigga, you were bisexual. You got caught, nigga. You got caught. Let it go, nigga. Let it go. You took that L. Take that L and lay your ass down and take that dick in your ass.
Oh my god. See, it's like,
and the inability to move on from a relationship makes them go into another relationship right away. It's like they're called serial monogamists.
The sad part about that is chill the fuck out, fix your fucking self, then get into a relationship. This is why we had to
motherfuckers. They turned Wolverine gay, though.
I don't give a fuck about Wolverine right now. That's a fictional character. Fuck Wolverine. I'm mad about the shit, but that's not even a topic for this damn live stream. That's a non-topic right now.
I'm just saying.
I know.
But yeah, like that's essentially what's happening is like we're starting to mold, and it's because of a lack of due diligence, it's a lack of conviction. We're like starting to we're starting to let inaction to change our values, and it's that's creating a space around us for other people to come in and invade our space. And that's what Roni Love was saying it basically at the beginning. He's like, this coronavirus isn't doing absolutely nothing but testing man's ability to go his own way.
Yeah,
Legit.
Yeah. What was the movie with Will Smith where he had the white hoe? What was that movie?
Yeah, Hitch.
I Am Legend.
Oh no.
When he was a superhero and he had the white hoe.
Hitchcock.
Hitchcock.
Or sorry,
Hitchcock.
Hancock.
Hancock. Yeah.
This is what it is right now. Like you like in these days and in these times, if you got a hoe around you, she ain't got to be white, but if you got a hoe around you, you will lose your superpowers and you will be exposed to death.
Yeah. And a lot of dumb motherfuckers is willing to risk that, and that's sad. Like I said it many times. I'm not dating down. I don't give a fuck what's going on. I'm not dating down. I'm not dating a single mother, and I'm sure as hell I ain't dating no motherfucker. If he is a single mother, that child better be my fucking child. That's all I got to say on that note. And I'm not dating no transgender because I don't believe in dating people who can't have children. End of story.
Yeah.
It's not because they're transgender. If you can't have a child naturally, I don't want to date you, basically. If you need in vitro and all this other crazy shit, I can't date you because now you're beneath me for the most part. And I'm just being sad.
Clean that up, Tico. Clean that up.
Fuck that shit. I ain't cleaning shit up. Fuck them hoes.
No, that's what I'm saying, Tico, because one day they will make it to where these fuck niggas can have babies, and you need to prepare.
But the sad part about that is though, they won't be able to have babies naturally. They'll need help to have those babies. And that's what I said.
Who are they gonna have
you can't have babies naturally, then I don't want to be with you. If I can't stick my dick in you, come in you, you pregnant, your belly get pregnant, you beneath me, ho. You beneath me.
Yeah, as much as we want to say that we have safe spaces and millennials, successful millennials, it's like most of the babies that are born from beta male simp manginas, they don't really last too long.
They sure enough don't
in the real world. So I mean,
if
people make good decisions and they treat their body right, they treat their relationships with respect, and they don't let fear cause them to go into some random relationship right now. Then
if you get into a relationship, if you go into a relationship, never change your fucking frame. Stay the same motherfucker that you was when you got that bitch. That way she won't leave your ass because you're not the same motherfucker that she wanted at the beginning. Because a bitch will try to change your ass, but don't change for that bitch. If you're going to change for yourself and improve your fucking self in that relationship, and that bitch won't leave you.
Yams and Tico. And both of you guys are correct, but this is a variable that needs to be added to that equation. If you aren't a beta male cuck and you have a baby with a bitch and you are a real man's man, the bitch will not let you have any influence over that life.
Yes, they will. You dating the wrong bitch then. You dating the wrong bitch then.
We have a country full of wrong bitches,
for 11
bro.
years. You dating the wrong bitch.
Full of wrong bitches, bro. A country full of wrong bitches.
Like I've proven that. I've proven that every single relationship I've ever been in.
He's right.
You can't be trying to come at me with some bullshit talking about, well, she didn't let me do this. Well, obviously you fucked up somewhere, pimp. And that's exactly what I'll tell you. Obviously you fucked up somewhere, and let it be you picked the wrong bitch, or you were thinking with your dick instead of your head, or ass and tits, like I always fucking say. Like that's just fucking facts. It's just fucking facts.
I agree with you, but also, that would be in a sterile environment. This ain't no sterile environment.
No, it don't matter if it's sterile or not. If you fuck up, like, because at the end of the day, there's two people in that fucking relationship. There's that motherfucker and you, motherfucker. Yeah. If one of y'all fuck up, that relationship is ending. If one of y'all flies right and the other one follows and respects you, that shit ain't ending.
So what you gonna do? If you hold to your frame and the bitch decide, well, shit, since I can't control this motherfucker, I'ma just subtract.
That's the thing.
The equation.
That's the thing, though. If a woman can't
You can
control
do
a man,
everything right.
no.
You can do
What you
everything
fail
right
to
and that
realize,
still
what you fail
happen.
to realize is if a woman can't control a man, she'll keep on trying to control that man or get him under control for the most part, and she'll stay with that man until she actually gets him weakened and into his fucking knees. That's how it works. This is why
Or
bitches
like
date
with the,
bad boys.
yeah.
Think about
Or
that
like,
shit, because they
no,
try to
wait
control the
until a
motherfucker.
man.
Like a good example of that is,
That is
if the minute you
the
can be
kids are a
controlled,
control
the minute
mechanism in itself, though.
no, they're not.
Like
No, they're
here,
not. No, they're
yes,
not in
they
the least bit.
are.
No, they're not in the least bit.
Come
Because the thing
on,
about kids is
they are the
you.
pawn and the
No, they're
control.
not. No, they're not. Because the minute you can actually, because the thing about that you felt, the variable that you fail to realize is, if a man's a man, and like the thing about it is, like you'll hear a lot of MGTOWs and a lot of red pill people say that. Never get into some shit that you're not willing to walk away from. The minute she knows that you'll walk away, that bitch will fly right, because that bitch don't want to lose what she got going on, because that bitch hasn't found that bitch doesn't want to lose what's good for her for the most part. Because at the end of the day, if you're not willing to walk away and you make these threats, she basically knows that you're not gonna walk away, and she calls your fucking bluff, and now you're destroyed. The minute, because I'll tell you in a heartbeat, I don't give a fuck what's going on. If the cartel princess don't fly right, a nigga's out. I don't give a fuck what's going on. It's that simple. And this is why she flies right.
So
Those are
what's your
proven
course of
facts.
So peep game. So what you gonna do if hypothetical situation you dip out? What you gonna do if the cartel princess start acting like a hoe and not letting you see your kids? What's your course of action besides putting your gun in the bitch mouth or cutting her up?
You can't reverse a relationship.
You can't reverse a relationship. Once I walk out, I'm done. The sad fact about that, because we come from family
What about your
oriented
twins
things.
though?
Yeah, no, I don't give a fuck about my friends. My friends ain't in my fucking relationship. Fuck your fucking friends. Your friends don't mean shit.
I said twins, TWIN.
Yeah, but the thing is though, we come from a society where we're family oriented, so I will always get to see my children. We may hate each other's guts, but we'll always get to see our children. It's just fact.
What we gonna do about the raggedy bitches over here that really use this form of control against me?
That's basically, they use this control because they know they can control your ass. The minute they know they can't control your ass, they can't use that against you. It's just fucking facts. It's basically like this.
How much you?
It's basically like this.
You have a choice.
It's basically like
right?
this. The way people control you is a good example of that is like when you're going on a when a government, let's just say the SEAL team or a special operations goes down. Basically, you control the supply line. You control everything that they need, and then you go in and get them for the most part. Or a kidnapping, a smash and grab mission. Basically, you control the routes that they could travel, and you control like all the other variables around them. That way, they don't have an escape route, and they have to travel that path. And you make sure that their cars are immobilized when you go to smash and grab it. Basically.
So I'm gonna address Dozang's point real quick. I do agree, if she knows you're going to walk away, she will chase you. But there becomes a point where she's resigned to the fact that you're not coming back, and that's when the control mechanism
because that's the problem. That's the problem with women. Women don't like when shit's unfinished and they can't have no control over it. That bitch will still be assigned to you no matter what, because she's mad and she's baffled on what the fuck happened, because she's raised on this unicorn rainbow shit.
They're waiting for the power to be swayed back in their.
Yeah, they're waiting for the power. Basically, she's waiting for the power to swing back in her court. The sad part about it is a lot of men give up that fucking power. That's the problem. A lot of men give up that fucking power.
You can leave a relationship and not retain and not keep any of your power, and then that's when you really start to that's where you really start to take responsibility, is after the fact, after you left the relationship. But when you're in the relationship, all you do is just...
Here's the reason why your frame is not bullshit today. Because let's just put it this way. Let's just say you dating a girl, her ex-boyfriend is in prison. When her ex-boyfriend gets out of prison, she's gonna leave your ass for her ex-boyfriend because he's a criminal. Because he held frame. And he's that nigga that she won. He's that nigga that makes her wet. It's just fucking facts.
That don't got nothing to do with the Rugrats, man. I'm talking about another fucker that's done with a bitch. And when you're done with a bitch, it takes about 6 months to a year for a bitch to realize that you're not coming back, and then she becomes resigned. And then it comes.
Well, the sad part about that, it doesn't. No, because you're wrong. You're wrong for the fact that all these bitches will cheat on you with their ex-boyfriend. Why is that? Just because they've been resigned for years, days, decades, months, whatever the fuck, she'll still go back to that nigga years later. It's just fucking fact. It's kind of like that one show where that bitch was cheating on her ex-boyfriend, and she's been with her fiance it was her husband or her fiance for about like a few years, and she actually cheated on her husband with her ex-boyfriend because she wanted that dick. That dick made her wet.
Yeah,
and she actually admitted all this shit. There's actually a show where she actually admitted all this shit on live fucking TV that she cheated on her husband so she could win $1 million.
So
think about that shit.
Look, I agree with you, Tico, but what if the man don't want her, he's not gonna fuck her? Then what?
It doesn't matter. She still wants him. She still wants him.
She has people backing her up to get him back.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if he doesn't want her. She still wants him because that's that fish, that's that prize, or that's that gold, that's that diamond, that's that ring that she couldn't grasp that got the fuck away.
So how do we account for the millions of men walking around this motherfucker that can't see they bitch unless they giving dick to the fucking mama?
Well, that's a whole nother story. You picked the bitch. It sucks being you.
Everybody make bad mistakes.
Yeah, everybody makes bad mistakes, but you can't think with your dick. I don't like that excuse bullshit. You can't be thinking with your dick. Because the sad part about that, most of these niggas be in the club talking about ass and tits, and they be trying to stick it in a bitch. Nobody even thinks about what type of bitch she is. They want to just stick it in the bitch. It's kind of like that one video I posted today where everybody's telling this woman she's beautiful. Meanwhile, they don't want to be with the woman. They just want to fuck that bitch.
So now this is what I'm saying. It's easy to say that when you're Yam's age,
it's
you don't have
facts.
no.
Because
no, listen, it's easy to say that when you're Yam's age, you ain't got no fucking kids. What about when you hit your 30s and then you got a couple of the motherfuckers? Then what?
If that bitch don't fly right, then you leave that bitch.
And then what about your kids? Then what?
Well, it depends on the woman you're with. No, because the thing is, though, you're trying to argue that there's a difference between the women I date and the women that you're probably going to date. It's just facts. I'm not going to date some goofy bitch that's going to tell me I can't see my children because there will be hell to pay.
Don't get it twisted. I'm worried.
There will be a lot of lives lost.
Yeah.
There will be a shit ton. There will be skirmishes from country to country about this shit when it comes to my children. But at the end of the day, listen to this.
With you, bro.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, listen to this. I'm the type of motherfucker. If you were to kidnap my children and I was to meet you at the spot to pick up my children, I would actually blow everybody up in myself. Everybody knows this about me. I'm suicide bombing every fucking body. We all gonna die down here. That's exactly my mentality. We all gonna die down here. We not going home. We not gonna see nobody. We're not gonna see our loved ones. We all gonna die down here. I'm not bringing no money. I'm bringing a bomb and I'm blowing everything up with me. It's just fact. That's exactly how I operate. Man? That's exactly how I fucking operate. Because you're not going to kidnap my children and you're going to take my money and get away with it. No, everybody's got to die down here. Just like the Red Queen said, and the Red Queen said in Resident Evil, you're all going to die down here. We're all going to die down here. It's just fucking facts. So, and my children already notice about me. My children already notice about me. We not going home. If the minute this happened, we not going home. We not going to see our loved ones no more because we all going to die down here.
You know, I agree with Dozane in the chat because he's saying real shit. Get custody. You know what I'm saying?
Get custody of your children. Because there's a lot of men. There's a lot of men that don't really fight that hard for custody, or they'll get like a cheap ass lawyer and shit like that, and they won't spend it on them. And the sad part about that is, if you're going to fight for custody and you're not married to the bitch. Now, if you're married to the bitch, you got to spend money on her lawyers and your lawyers. But if you really want your fucking children, put in the actual fucking legwork to get your children back. Don't be sitting out here like, well, she took my children. Okay, it's kind of like what I was saying about the toilet paper and people not wanting to go online to buy the toilet paper. You basically are sitting here crying about not being able to do this. Meanwhile, you could actually had all the situation and all the solution to do it. Why didn't you take that solution?
And you know what? I agree with what you're saying, but like in the state that I am in California, they have mechanisms in place that can thwart you at every step.
Yeah, but I would say to that note, right, you know. I would say to that note, talk to Double I about that in the Title 4D shit, and he'll tell you how that actually works, and you can get out of that shit, and all those mechanisms just to fuck appear. Matter of fact, Hammerhand's going to make a video on that not too long from now, and telling you every step of the way on how this works. there's things in place when it comes to that actually blows that whole entire shit out the water, and it makes all those fucking mechanisms disappear. It's called the color of law or something along the lines of that. It blows all those mechanisms out of the fucking water. So you have no more mechanisms against you. You don't have any more excuses. You have no more excuses for why you don't have your children.
There are ways to take those mechanisms
the sad part about
away
that,
from you.
yeah, the sad part about that is what a lot of people don't know, and like, because like very few people know about this when it comes to me, is when Deshari actually died, I actually had to fight for custody with the whole entire fucking country about my 2 oldest daughters. I had to fight Albania for custody of my 2 oldest daughters. And I stuck to it, and I kept going, and I didn't give a fuck how much money this shit cost. I don't give a fuck how much money I had to drop on this shit. I eventually got custody of my children from a whole fucking country. Think about that shit. If I'm willing to do that shit, your ass should be willing to do that fucking shit too. Don't be coming on here making no fucking excuses. Well, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. No, fuck that shit. Go get your fucking children.
Tico. All right, let me ask you this question. I'm gonna try to be very detailed. I'm gonna just give you one mechanism. That way we can, give.
No, there's no mechanisms with this color law. There's no more mechanisms left with the color and law. If you actually look this shit up, them mechanisms don't mean shit. If you actually learn your laws and you learn your color of law. But I'm gonna let Double I talk about it so he can actually explain it to you, because he's actually going through it right now.
So let's say you're in California, right? And you're
that shit doesn't matter. That shit doesn't matter. You could be in Europe, you could be in Australia, you could be anywhere in the fucking world. If you actually use this shit to your advantage, you ain't got to worry about those fucking things being in your way. Those roadblocks no longer fucking exist. The fact of the matter is, it's kind of like how I say with the when men come home from the military, they don't know how to find all their they don't know how to find all the things that necessarily get the help that they need, because they basically put you in a big ass circle. Like, you need to go here, you need to go here, you need to go here, and they'll point you in another direction. So you're running back and forth between several different buildings to get your benefits or try to go to college and shit like that, basically. Meanwhile, instead of running around doing all this shit like a chicken with your head cut off, if you sit down and ask somebody who probably knows or study this shit, you wouldn't have to worry about running around and wasting your time. But that's how the United States law is set up. They make you run around and do all this shit like a chicken with your head cut off, and they hide all this information from you and don't make it public.
Double I got a question for you, because he said that you're the one that would have knowledge on this. How do you get around the Duluth model?
You're talking about indoctrination. So how do you get around indoctrination?
The Duluth model is what the Duluth model is.
He's talking about the court. He basically made it. He basically made it sound more fancy than it need to be. He's basically asking, how do you get around the court system for custody, basically.
Oh, very simple.
Yeah.
Children are property. Children are property. Plain and simple. That's all they are. Until they turn 18, you are nothing but property to me. That's how the law sees it. Under the Constitution, you cannot be separated from your property without due process. Under Title 4D, they can fast track that due process and just do it on a judge's signature. The problem is that judge is being paid.
Hang on. He's about to tell you. Calm down. He's about to tell you. Let him talk.
I'm listening. I apologize. Go ahead.
The problem is that the judge is paid to do it. So the judge is a contractor. So the whole thing is a fallacy. It's not even real law. It's just bullshit.
It's conflict of interest.
It's complete conflict of interest. That's correct. So because of that, they cannot keep your children away from you. That's exactly what I'm doing right now to get my baby girl back.
So let's say you got a bitch that accuses you of domestic violence, and you know as well as I do that in family court proceedings, there need not be any proof. So how do you get around that?
You're talking about proceedings. You're talking about proceedings. Forget proceedings.
That shit doesn't matter. Listen to him.
That shit does not matter anymore. You're not having proceedings. You are cutting the snake off at its fucking head before it can inject the poison into you. You're taking the judge's capacity away from trying to manage your estate.
So it's a preemptive strike to basically a fucked up fake court system, basically.
Correct.
So what is that? So what are you like suing for a different venue or something like that? Then
No.
You're asking
I'm
the judge to
filing paperwork.
You file paperwork basically asking the judge to recuse herself and or herself.
Not asking, demanding.
Telling them. Yeah, telling them basically. Sorry about that.
Demanding recusal.
Hello.
You're working.
Yeah, and we hear you.
Thank you. Sorry.
So all this shit disappears. The judge don't even get to do this shit because you don't basically.
So if you're in a case right now,
it'd be basically like if I came to your house and I tell you that you say, "Oh, you're not getting in my house," and I pull the rug from under your feet and you fall down. Basically, you basically pull the rug from under the judge's feet.
If you're in a case right now and trying to get your kids back or something like that, and you're willing to fight for them, you need to take down my Discord.
So what do you do?
I'm sorry.
Because I actually know somebody who went about that particular course of action, and he was held in contempt.
The thing is, though, you never make it to contempt.
He didn't know enough to answer that contempt charge.
Okay.
Because you can't be held in contempt for something they're doing wrong. He must have gone into their court. He must have allowed them to order him in some way, and because of that order not being listened to, the judge automatically takes action, which is holding him in contempt. That's wrong. So once again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't run a law firm or nothing like that. You got to confirm your own shit. But if you want to figure out what to send to these lawyers or these fake judges and have them stop dabbling in your estate, start watching people like Amin Osiris. And also, if you want, a little bit of guidance from me in the right direction as to who I listen to in this manner, reach out to me on Discord.
Or email.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't give out my personal email, but I will give out.
Reach out to them to Discord.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to add while Tico was going off, because I think you guys were talking about two completely different things up until this point. But what I heard was just like that guy was asking a lot of questions based on like 10% of the information that Tico was giving or was talking about in his rant. But yeah, no, this is stuff that if you know about it, it can help you. Whoever's in that situation, it can help you. And so it's to ask questions based on just the little information that you're gathering just from what Tico's saying, that, oh, you can like maintain frame or something, or you still have power. Literally,
he's right about that.
Literally after
he's not lying.
Done talking about agendas and stuff and how little power we actually have. I know it can be hard transition, but it might sound harsh coming out of Tico's mouth, but he actually is looking to help people take care of their own needs and be self-sufficient.
Yeah, I'm just a harsh person any damn way.
Well, we know that about.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, Sherm actually said about me in the last stream, Tico's the type of Tico's the type of nigga that expects you to carry your own weight.
Yeah.
It's just fact. That's
medicine
who I am.
Don't taste good, man. It really don't. It's not supposed to.
Medicine never tastes good, but the fact of the matter is sometimes you got to take that bitch and swallow that bitch,
and you'll be better.
Because I've seen a lot of fathers, man, who don't have the information that my man Double Line Tico was speaking.
Yeah, like it's basically how I say with the military. When military men come home, they don't know where to go, and they're basically ass out, and you'll see a lot of them on the street like homeless and shit like that. Correct. I'm basically a part of a program in Pittsburgh that help all these homeless veterans get into homes and get all the help that they need. Because I know that they don't get all the information that they need to actually go on about their merry way or go to school or the loans that they need for cars or homes and shit like that, because they don't give them this information. They basically let them run around with chickens like their head cut off. Like if you go to the VA and ask a question, they'll tell you need to go to this place. You go to that place, they'll tell you need to go to that place. You go to that place, you tell them you need to go to that place. Or you go to that place, they tell you need to go to this place. So now you're running around like a big ass chicken and you lose faith and you lose hope on possibly getting the help that you possibly need. Because the sad part about that, a lot of these vets out here actually suffer from PTSD, and the help that they needed wasn't afforded to them like it was supposed to be.
Yeah, it's pretty much too late to help them.
It's too late, and they pretty much already suffer. And like that's why you see a lot of alcoholic vets, or you see a lot of drug addict vets, basically, because they put their lives on the line for their country, and their country literally turned around and bitch slapped them in the fucking face and told them you need to go here. It's kind of like how when women play that game too. Well, no, I don't have it. She says she has it. So you go over there and talk to that woman. She says she has it, and I don't have it, so this person has it. It's basically like that same fucking game. It's like a shell game. Or the cup game, shell game? Am I saying that right? Where you take the ball, you put it under a cup, and you basically switch it around. It's basically a big-ass shell game when it comes to actually getting help for the help that you actually need.
Guys, looks like y'all have this pretty much down packed. I'm going to go spend some time with my family. I will connect with y'all.
I'm wrapping this up anyway.
Side. Yeah,
I'm wrapping this up anyway.
You guys be safe and take care of your loved ones. Just to reiterate what your homeboy True Sherm said. And I'm gonna get some time in with them right now. So you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you guys later.
You too, Yam.
Take it easy, Yam.
Yeah, peace out.
Apparently, one of my younger twins, basically stole the other twin's graham crackers, so she started crying. Like little savage heifer.
Yo, man, graham crackers are serious, bro.
Huh?
Graham crackers are serious.
I know, right? Apparently.
Wow.
Apparently.
What's even more serious than graham crackers is Capri Suns.
Oh yeah, that would start World War III in my house. You take somebody's Capri Sun. You'll have it'd be nuclear arsenal type shit and shit like that. You'll have all my kids on their own side behind couches lobbing shit at each other and shit like that. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Calm, chill.
like, bitch, you better stop giving me your kids juices, bitch.
Right?
There'll be like two fat girls inside of Walmart fighting for a Clorox bleach bottle.
Yeah, literally.
I seen a bottle.
It would actually be much worse in my house than that shit. Like, my one daughter's dangerous by herself. She beat up a feminist at the airport. So I can imagine what she would do to her sisters.
Bottle of Lysol on Amazon for $100.
Yeah, don't bat on Amazon. Just go to Walmart online or Costco online or all these places online, and you get your shit for cheap or almost the right price, because they did jack up the prices a little bit when they restock shit.
Yeah,
but it's not going to be $100.
They know.
Yeah, they know. They know that you need a supply and demand, so they got to make more money off that shit.
Yep.
The more you buy shit, the more they up the prices on the shit. It's kind of like when they started making diesel cars. Before they started making a lot of diesel cars, diesel fuel used to be cheap as hell. It used to be cheaper than regular gasoline. When they started making more diesel cars, supply and demand, up the prices on that bitch.
Mm-hmm.
That's typically how it works. So now diesel fuel costs more than regular fuel now.
That's when truckers start complaining.
Yeah. Or the truck companies start complaining.
Costing more.
Mm-hmm. Or the trucking companies start complaining about that shit too. Then the union gets involved and everybody gets involved, and now we got this big discourse, and now we got to figure this shit out and make it so that we can get them a deal.
To worry about, make them
give them something else to worry about so they can actually
So they stop worrying about the gas, and they're worrying about the hours instead, and how many hours they can do, they can't do.
Yeah,
where they
like you can't work this many hours, or you can only work this many hours, or if you work this many hours, you could get points on your license. Like, you don't want that shit. You're worried about getting this shit now. Now you're worried about
that shit backwards as fuck. You worried about all this bullshit, but you letting Poon open up a big ass plug in the drain of your pockets.
Yeah, people don't think. Like I said, most men think ass and tits. That's all they fucking think. Ass and tits. They don't think about the head that's attached to those ass and tits. That's all they think about is ass and tits. Kind of like I said about the video I uploaded today. They don't care what the fuck. They don't care what the fuck she thinks or how she looks. I mean, they don't care about how to like dating that bitch. They just want to fuck that bitch. That's all they want to do is fuck her. They telling her she looks beautiful. You look good for 45, and this, that, and the other. This, that, and the other. They just basically want to fuck her. But she got a fat ass. She got a fat ass.
She got snow in the forest.
Yeah, literally. She got a fat ass, and that's the reason why they're telling her she looked good, because she's wearing a skin tight dress in that fucking thing. And they're based all those simps in that fucking comment section are fucking ridiculous and sickening. That's how men think. That's exactly how men think.
Oh, fucking
'Cause
gross.
I know damn well that all these men that got into these relationships ignored the fucking signs when they got into these relationships, because there's no way in hell you could tell me that bitch wasn't a bridezilla up at the wedding. Because bitches be at bridezilla all the fucking time. You can't tell me you ignored that shit, got married, and tell me I'd never seen that coming. No, nigga, you knew it was coming. That pussy got you blinded by that shit, or them titties got you blinded by that shit, or the way she walked away from you got you blinded by that shit. It's just fucking facts. And I'm coming at you like a real man. That's the reason why you get screwed, because you're too busy paying attention to the pussy, the ass, and the tits. Forget the fact that forget the head on her shoulders.
Than a lion.
Yeah, forget the head on her shoulders. You paying attention to that ass, you paying attention to that tit, and you're wondering what that pussy feel like. It's just fucking facts. I'd rather
be a tiger than a lion, man, because a tiger fucks and gets the fuck up.
Yeah, and that's the sad part about that. The minute you get that pussy, she knows she got pussy control on your ass. Kind of like how Lady Saw says in her one song, pussy control. That's literally a Lady Saw song, legit. Pussy, it's called pussy control. Yeah, Lady Saw, pussy control.
Hey, but and it's hard, fellas, because and you feel that pussy in the back of the pussy where it's like you going into the second pussy. You got to really put your strong mind on and let that second pussy, you know what I'm saying, in the back of her shit. You can't let it clog your mind.
Yeah, and that's why I always say the shit that I say in my videos, because I literally do that shit. Like the one time we were out to lunch and it was raining and she was standing on the curb, I literally pulled up and splashed the whole entire puddle of water on that heifer.
Man, these bitches can't even survive water, man.
I laughed like hell. She kept on hitting me. Fuck you, Tico. Fuck you, Tico. You play too much, Tico. Fuck you, Tico. That's exactly what she was saying to me the whole entire time. You play too much, Tico. Fuck you, Tico. Like, because that's the type of person I am. I'm not going to let you think you ever got control of me because I'm willing to do some shit like that. I don't care if you're cute, sexy, whatever the hell. I'll splash you with some fucking water and fuck your whole entire day up.
Man, it's the thing. If your bitch got control over you, douse her with water. And
it's a wrap.
When that makeup run down her face, see if she still got control over you.
Yeah, the sad part. My favorite prank that I play on the Cartel Princess is I'll put baby powder in her fucking blow dryer or hair dryer. Wrap. Whole their attitude changes. Got a face full of baby powder in her fucking face. I know I ain't shit. I'll admit that in a heartbeat. I ain't shit in a heartbeat. I'll tell you that in a heartbeat. I don't care. Like, I'll admit shit. I'll tell you that shit in a heartbeat. I don't care. I will do some savage shit all the fucking time. Yeah, I don't care. I do shit like that all the time. I don't care. Shit. The one time I rigged the sink. I rigged the sink in her house where like the faucet where the water squirted up from under the faucet instead of coming through the actual thing, and it sprayed her right in the face, and I was cracking up laughing. The one time I rigged her toilet where the water shot up out of the drain and shot her in the face.
You gotta douse these bitches with water, man. At least once a year, man. You gotta make sure they pass the test, man.
Make sure they ain't gremlins and shit. Don't,
yeah,
you know what with the gizmo. Throw some water on that bitch. Make sure she don't turn into a gremlin.
Man, you gotta douse these bitches with water.
Eggs pop up on her back.
Right? Yeah. Legit. That's what you gotta do. I'm sorry, but that's what it is.
Oh my God. Yeah, fellas, you gotta be strong, man. You know when you're looking at these Costco thoughts, man, you gotta look at them like, you know, like
yeah, they're wearing them yoga pants for a reason. They're wearing them thighs for them whatever the fuck them thigh hugging thing, whatever the fuck they call them. They're wearing them for a reason. They don't have that fucking shape. Those pants give them that fucking shape. So stop looking at them like they got that fucking shape, because they don't got that fucking shape. When the minute you pull those fuckers off,
has that ever happened to you?
That bitch pop like the fucking Pillsbury Doughboy muffin container.
Has that ever happened to you, to anybody before, where you have said where when they come off and it ain't what you thought you saw?
I never dated a bitch that wore them type of things.
Yeah, no, you don't want to be anywhere near any of those.
I never dated a woman that wore that type of shit.
It's bad. It's bad.
Like they got leggings.
I never dated a woman that wore that type of shit at all. I've never dated a woman that wore that type of shit. They either had loose clothes on, or they had pants that didn't look like they pretty much made their ass look like it's big, or they didn't have the shirts on to make them look like their titties are really popping out. Like, no, I don't date bitches that advertise like that. I don't date bitches at all that advertise like that. That's not the bitch I look for. If you advertising, you trying a little too hard to convince me about some shit. I don't like people trying to trick me in some shit.
There's a key element right there. If they're advertising, there's a problem.
The harder they advertise, The bigger the fucking problem. It's basically like a car salesman. You come in for the Camry and he's trying to sell you the fucking Lexus. Like, wait a minute, how we in a Lexus lot, nigga? I'm trying to buy this Camry, nigga. What the fuck, nigga? Like, that's basically women for you today. You come in for one thing because it's on sale, and they're trying to sell you this other shit that has nothing to do with what you're trying to buy, basically, and it costs more money. That's pretty much women in a nutshell for you today. They're trying to sell you some shit that you don't need.
This is how I judge a bitch, and this is how I want to implore the younger brothers who may not know any better to judge a bitch. And it's weird and it's fucked up because you kind of have to have a rapport with a bitch to even know this kind of information. But if you look let's say you ain't got nothing in your house but fucking cornmeal and fucking flour and a few eggs, and you ain't got nothing that's like really quick. If a bitch could go in there and whip up some fucking shit with nothing in that freezer, with just fucking flour, eggs, and fucking whatever the fuck you got in there, just leftover shit. If she could whip something up, you might be working with something. But even then, you still gotta be
all
cautious.
the women, like a good example that all the women that actually date, because like we don't buy that pre-made shit. So if you can't make pie crust from scratch, you can't make flour tortillas from scratch, you can't make bomb pan from scratch, or you can't make naan from scratch. We not talking, bitch. We not talking. We not talking at all. If you can't make none of this shit from scratch, and you need to go get some prepackaged shit, we not talking in my house. You can't even come to my fucking house. You can't even ride in my car, bitch. Matter of fact, take the pat bus, bitch. What? That's exactly how I operate. If you can't, because if you can't do nothing with, if you can't do nothing with flour or cornmeal or all this shit, then we not talking, because you're not worth my time and you beneath me, bitch. That's exactly how I operate.
Because, man, when you're dealing with, because it's very few real bitches in this world, but when you deal with one and you, let's say you in your shit and you know you ain't got nothing to eat, and when this bitch go in there and whip you up some pancakes or whatever, and you know you didn't have nothing in there, that needs to be a skill that needs to be examined and sought after more so than a bitch's fat ass.
Yeah, literally. But men don't pay attention to that shit. They pay attention to the ass and wonder what the pussy they feel like. That's exactly how men operate. I hate to be savage like that.
You're about to say taste.
Yeah, that's exactly how most men operate. I hate to be savage like that, but like I said, that's exactly how most men operate. You look at the ass, you look at the titties, and you wonder what the pussy feel like. When I look at a woman, I wonder what she could do in that fucking kitchen with that flour.
Right.
Tico, you had it right the first time. I mean, you caught yourself, but you had it right the first time.
Right, he did. He caught himself.
You notice how hungry men are. As soon as a pair of yoga pants walks by, they're licking lips.
Yeah, they do. They do. And it's sad, but they do. That's exactly what they do. They look at it like it's a fucking steak.
You had it
then
right
when they
the
bite
first
into
time.
that shit, they realize it's flake. It's flank. It's like some fake ass steak, basically. Then they want to act mad or shocked, like they just bit into some fake ass steak. Dude, you got tricked into that shit. Don't be getting sold on an image.
But this the thing, Tico. Are we as men really to start fucking with an ugly bitch if she got these particular skills?
I'm not saying fuck with an ugly bitch. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But
that's not
I'm
what
not
I'm
saying fuck with an ugly bitch. Sometimes
I'm not saying fuck with an ugly bitch. I'm saying are these traits going to be sought after to the point to where it's more valued, to where they're more valued than the way a bitch look?
Yeah, and the sad part about that, men are waking up to this shit. They know that they need this shit and they want this shit. And the sad part about it is, like I always say, it's basically like a basketball player. If your team's not willing to pay you the proper money that you need, you take your skills elsewhere, pimp. Take your fucking skills elsewhere where somebody's willing to take your skills and pay you the right amount of money that you fucking deserve. That's the same thing with a fucking relationship. Take your skills elsewhere to somebody who will appreciate your fucking skills instead of dealing with this goofy ass bitch. It's just fucking facts. I'm not saying go out there and get into a relationship, but if you're going to get into a relationship, pick the best fucking thing you could possibly pick out of the whole entire fucking world. And then examine that shit to make sure that shit ain't fucking fake. Don't be sitting there, oh, I love you, honey. No, fuck that shit. Make sure that bitch ain't fucking fake. Like my mom used to tell me, the only thing she used to tell me, the only good thing she ever told me was, you love that bitch 1% and let her love you 99%. That's just fucking facts. Don't be falling in love with these goofy ass hoes. You love that bitch 1%, you let that bitch love you 99%. Fuck all that shit that you learned growing up. Fuck all that indoctrination that you learned growing up. Love that bitch 1% and you let her love you 99. If you don't ever take nothing from me, take that shit from me. Love that bitch 1% and let her love you 99. That's just fucking facts, and that's just better fucking math.
Man, this nigga Tico preaching. You gotta love yourself 1% and let the bitch love you 99%.
No, I said love her 1% and let her love you 99. Love your own ass 99 and let that bitch love you her 99. Make that bitch love you her 99. Make that bitch earn your fucking love. Don't just get that bitch your love. Make that bitch earn your love. Cause I'm getting tired of hearing these fucking niggas. And then when I say niggas, I mean black, white, Chinese, Puerto Rican, and Asian. I don't give a fuck what you are. You all my niggas in this fucking. We all my fucking niggas in this thing. And I'm speaking truth because y'all too busy just giving away y'all fucking love for fucking free to a false dream and the smoke and mirrors. Like I said, if a bitch is out there advertising a little too fucking hard, that shit's false. And you need to not buy that shit. Don't even look at that shit. Keep walking past that model. Like I said with the one car. Bitches treat bitches like they fucking Ford Focus, basically. Bitches trying to sell themselves like they're Lexuses, but look at what the car does. Look at how much it's going to cost you in the long run. Look at all these variables. Basically, look at bitches like you're buying a car. They have on a sign on the outside of the car when you buy a car, everything it's going to cost you in his lifetime owning this car, all the shit that could possibly go wrong, and how much this shit's going to set you back. Look at a woman just like that, like you're buying a new fucking car.
Man,
and then go back, then go and research that shit, and then come back and decide if you want to buy that fucking car.
See, Tico, I think we're missing a particular point of view that these ancients had right. In 2,000 years ago, the man was considered the fucking bridegroom. You were the bride and the fucking groom. You were that fucking sought after. You were that important. And we need to get back to that particular mindset when we realize we're the bride and the fucking groom. They want us.
Yeah, the sad part about that is you're the fucking prize. Like I said in the one live stream, when I want everybody to think about this shit very hard. When the hell, besides gay men, when the hell have you ever heard a man run around saying, I'm getting married and happy to get fucking married? Think about that shit. How many times have you ever heard a man running around talking about we getting married, I done played my game, this, that, and the other, and this nigga happy, cheery ass motherfucker running around talking about I'm getting married now and I'm happy to get married now. Never in the history of niggerdom have you ever heard a motherfucker say this shit.
That's a biological directive. Like,
that's a woman thing.
Like because marriage solves every one of their biological directives.
No, it doesn't. No, the fuck it doesn't. No, because at the end of the day, you're not the one that want to get married. She's the one that convinced your ass to get married.
This is what I'm saying, though. Marriage.
And the sad part about that is it doesn't solve any biological imperative. What it does is give her the fucking power to control your dumb ass. It's just fucking facts.
Marriage helps her imperative, but it doesn't help ours. Our imperative
it doesn't help your imperative at all in the least bit. No, it doesn't.
Wide.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like I said, when was the last time you heard a nigga happy to get married? When have you heard a nigga skipping to work, talk about I'm getting married next month? Yeah, never. There's a reason why you get convinced into marrying a bitch. Because you're the fucking prize, and that bitch wants to marry you and wife you up. Because at the end of the fucking day, when the shit hit the fan, you're going to be working to pay for that $1 million house or that $500,000 house. You're going to be doing the work for that shit. You're going to be doing the work to put your kids in this fucking school. You're going to be doing all this fucking work. And despite what all these feminists say, independent women, and we can get our own, when the shit hit the fan, she's going to be a stay-at-home mom, and your dumb ass is going to have to work to pay for all that fucking shit. It's just fucking fact.
Nico, you said something that I think went above everybody's head, but I want to bring it back down so we can understand this. You said bitches want to wife you up.
Literally.
Let's like that is some real fuck. A bitch want to wife you up.
Yeah. They want you in that position. They get all their friends, your mom, her dad, her sister, all them motherfuckers convince you into marrying this bitch. They're basically trying to pawn you off on this bitch.
This is not a new concept.
It's not a new concept at all.
Exists.
Yeah, like the sad part about that is women use all that shit around them, all that support around you, and you and them to basically convince you that it's a good idea that you're marrying this bitch. It's just facts. It's not a new concept at all. Because, like I said, when have you heard a man that was happy and skipping to actually get married to a woman? Usually that shit look like a prisoner that just got caught and he's going to jail. It's a long and deliberate walk, and he got a fucking coat over his fucking head.
Hey, not even polygamists are happy to get married.
No, they're not. You got to supply for all the motherfucking bitches and all them kids that they're going to have. Think about that shit. Do you got to please all these bitches? That's too many different variables to go wrong. Then when you're having sex with one of them, you might say the other one's name. Niggas ain't got that kind of focus.
I'm gonna bounce on up out of here, man.
All right.
I got that job tomorrow in the morning.
All right.
But,
have a good one.
I think we should
go ahead.
Let's just go ahead and end the stream there because I gotta go too, bro.
Okay, cool. We're on the stream now. Outro.
Okay, cool.
Go, Roni Love, aka Psychesoap.
Roni, gotta get that Roni in the morning.
Yeah, goddammit. You gotta share this video with men that need a red pill. Like and comment if you've made it this far on this motherfucker. Subscribe and favorite. If you want to see us all again, donate to your local veteran.
And if y'all watch this entire video, timestamp this bitch so people can know where the good points support parts are. Because I'm not timestamping this
right
bitch.
On. Big brother.
I'll get my children to timestamp this bitch before I timestamp this bitch.
Right on. And that's good. We're all one big brother, all belong to one father. You tread on one, you hurt another, and that to me is brotherhood. Peace, gentlemen. Lord bless you. Now.
That guy, you want to go?
Yeah, man. I got two things I want to say real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 27. I have, in 1,000 women, I have not found one that was wise. Job chapter 37. I have not given her knowledge, nor hath I given her wisdom. So get your wisdom, get your knowledge, because she don't got it, fellas. I'm out.
That's a good one.
Nice.
And I'm Catholic, and I like that. That was a good one. I ain't gonna make a joke on that shit because that was actually some good shit right there. Because normally I'd make a joke on anything Bible, but that was some good shit. You double I?
My outro is I want to reiterate the point that there is absolutely no reason for you to, run around like Chicken Little with your head cut off about the sky is falling. This shit is happening right now. Just use your wits about you. Go into your monk mode. As a matter of fact, if you're not a monk yet, as a matter of fact, this is going to be good practice for you to be in.
Definitely will be good practice for you, most definitely.
Do it. Survive. Listen to what they're saying. Don't spread the virus. Think of the older people in our communities, and just
best
be
decision
mindful.
I ever made.
Yeah.
Be mindful.
Be mindful, definitely.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, have a good day.
And all I'm going to say to that is, don't be selfish. Don't just think about your damn self, because there's other motherfuckers around you that's going to suffer if you actually make the wrong decisions. And men are known to always take care of the society, no matter what the fuck's going on, no matter how much shit is against them, no matter how much shit gets thrown in their fucking face. A man would always take care of society no matter what. Despite the downfalls and all the shit that gets thrown at them, or all the rhetoric that gets thrown against them, or all the allegations that get tossed against them, men will always be men, and men will always take care of society like men. So, with this coronavirus, I'm gonna need you to be men, be that steadfast person.
Be men.
Be that steadfast person. Be that person that people look to when shit hit the fan. And do what you got to do to protect you, your family, and all your fucking loved ones. And if you haven't talked to anybody in your family and you know they're old enough to actually catch this shit, I suggest you to get on the phone and start calling people. Because like I said, I don't normally talk to my grandmother, mom sad, but I actually called her yesterday before I left the United States. I actually spent time with her. While I was here for a little short period of time because I love my grandmother and I know that she can actually. I know her health is on the decline right now. And she's about to go after my mom did because my mom died last year. So I know my grandmother's next because her health is on a decline. So I actually go and talk to my grandmother and I call her all the time and tell her how much I love her and I appreciate all the things that she done and put it in and actually made so I can actually be the man that I am today. Because if it wasn't for her, I would be raised fucked up when I came back here in the summer. My whole entire situation would be all fucked up because my grandmother, mom's side, basically took me on in the summer because my mom only see me 1 or 2 days in the summertime. So if it wasn't for my grandmother, mom's side, I'd probably be running the streets and I'd probably be acting a fucking fool and I'd probably be a gangbanger. It's just fucking facts. So I know y'all might hate y'all family members. I know y'all done been through some shit with your family members, but I'm gonna need y'all niggas to go home and hug and kiss y'all family because there might not be no tomorrow. It's kind of like when you have a family gathering, y'all take pictures because that might be the last picture that you might see that motherfucker in. That's just facts. So love your fucking family. I'm not saying love them hard or bow down to them. Basically go visit them, call them. If you don't want to visit them, just call them and check in on them, basically. Make sure they're doing fine. Because at the end of the day, you may not like the motherfucker, but they did have a hand in bringing you in this fucking world. Maybe not directly, but indirectly, they brought you into this world via your mother or your daddy. It's just simple math. Because if it wasn't for them, your ass wouldn't be here. No matter what the fuck they taught you, no matter what the fucking indoctrination they gave you, if it wasn't for them, your ass wouldn't be here. So take this time to call them. Tell them how much you love them. You don't have to talk to them a long time. Just let them know that you care and you're worried about their safety and go on about your merry way. But I digress. And y'all have a blessed night, and I'm happy to serve y'all. As a Red Pillar, I'm happy to serve everybody in the MGTOW community, Red Pill community, and SYSBM community. And I will do it until I bleed my last breath. And I will hold the shield, and I will hold the wall, and I will hold the line till the day I die and the day I breathe. No matter what country I'm in, no matter if I'm in a shelter, in a bunker, or wherever the fuck I am, I will continue to serve this community. Because that is my goal in life, to serve this fucking community. Along with the veterans that actually get shit on by their societies. All I want to do is help men, make men better, and make them have a better life, and possibly traverse this a lot better than what they're doing now. That's all I fucking want to do. I don't want no praise. I don't want none of that shit. I just want you to listen to the message. To each of the different MGTOW or Red Pill or people, I don't give a fuck about the rhetoric. I don't give a fuck about the trolls. Listen to the MGTOW men, learn what you need to learn from them, and make yourself a better person. That's it. Don't get involved in the trolling shit, because that detracts from you bettering yourself when you get involved in the trolling shit. That's time that you could have had at the gym, or time you could have had with a family member, or time you could have had doing other shit. But because you're focused on this troll so hard, now you ain't got that time. You can't get that fucking time back. It's basically like how we say about women. Women suck your time. That troll sucking your fucking time. That could have been an extra set of push-ups you were doing. That could have been an extra set of chin-ups you could have been doing. That could have been an extra mile you could have ran to better yourself. That could have been an extra time that you could have came up with a business idea to start a fucking business to make yourself a better person. So fuck those trolls, better yourself. Fuck getting involved with them motherfuckers, better yourself. It's just fucking facts, and it's simple math, because them motherfuckers don't care about you. They basically want to keep you and hold you back on the fucking plantation, and they want you to think about what you could have had, basically. Meanwhile, because you're engaging these motherfuckers, that's time that you could have had bettering yourself or making yourself a better person. Now they held you back. You can't get that time back. You can't go back and get time unless they invent some type of time machine that I don't know about. So focus on yourself and focus on bettering yourself. Fuck those trolls. In the famous words of Tico, fuck them, fuck their faces, and fuck their day. And I'm going to need everybody to have a good night and have a peaceful day. Keep your awareness about you. Love your brother. Love your mother, no matter how much she did you wrong. Because that could be the last time you see her. That could be the last time you see your dad or another relative. You may not like the motherfucker, but that might be the last time you see their asses. Because this shit is real. Because there's a lot of dumb motherfuckers that don't care about your safety or their safety that run around and do all this dumb shit that they might come in contact with. Because that's just simple math, and that's how simple motherfuckers are in the United States and around the world. So that motherfucker traveling might have the coronavirus, and now your mom's sick because she's at the supermarket. Or your dad's sick because he's at the supermarket. Or your sister's sick if she's hits that age bracket. You know, shit like that. Stop thinking about the micro shit and think about the macro shit. The micro shit don't mean shit if you can't get to your goal and think about the bigger plan or the bigger goal in yourself. Now, I normally don't get religious, but at the end of the day, he has a plan for you. If you're religious or whatever you believe in, let it be Hindu, Muslim, whatever the hell you are, there's a goal for you. You need to attain that goal. Fuck all these other things going on. Attain that goal. Reach for that golden ring. Don't be acting stupid with these low-life motherfuckers. Like I always say, if they want to act stupid, they're fucking beneath you. Like I always say, they want to act stupid, you're fucking beneath me. It's that simple. I don't have to explain myself to you. You're fucking beneath me. If you didn't catch the message, you're fucking beneath me, or go back and re-watch it again. There's no need to get involved with these motherfuckers. Let the motherfuckers flounder and die by their fucking self. Let them do the stupid shit by their fucking self. Let them die. Let them get caught up in their own shit, because misery loves fucking company at the end of the day. And the more you engage them, the more you become company to them. It's just facts. But everybody have a blessed night, because I've been carried this on a little too long. I love everybody.
Fuck off, everyone.
I love everybody. Get some sleep. Clear your fucking
Damn,
head.
you really funneled the inner Energizer bunny in you for that outro.
Have
I
a
would
good
have just
night.
said, fuck
Clear
off,
your fucking
everyone.
head. Meditate on this shit. Get a clear head and deal with this shit in the morning. If it is morning for you, meditate in the afternoon. Deal with this shit in the evening and deal with it the next day. Don't let this shit excite you. Don't let this shit scare you. Just do what you need to do to prevent yourself from getting caught up in this fucking mess.
Facts.
But y'all have a good
y'all
night.
Hey, yo,
Save
Tico,
yourselves.
don't forget, man.
Save
Hey,
yourselves,
my bad.
man.
Go ahead.
Hey, Tico,
Go ahead.
don't forget, send me that link for the forum on Tuesday.
Okay, I will.
All right,
Are
fellas,
you
I'll
on
see y'all
Discord,
next time.
that guy?
No, I don't even have social media, man. I have.
Neither do I. But Discord is just a gamer chat.
I don't even know what it is. I don't even play games.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to play games to be in it. You could just basically be in it
It's
just
like,
to talk to
see
people.
how three of us are chatting right now? We do this on Discord.
Yeah, literally.
So, is it like an app, or can I do it from my laptop?
You can do it from a laptop or an app. Either way, like
Yeah,
laptop,
either
app,
way.
computer.
Yeah, y'all got
laptop, app, or
excuse
computer.
me.
Yeah. I'll try to
I
send
don't
you a
really
link
know.
to one. What is it? Do you have a phone or are you using a laptop?
I'm using a laptop right now. I don't really do the whole technology outside of making music. I don't know nothing. Only thing I know is that
it'll probably be better if I send it to your phone.
All right, yeah, I'll shoot you an email with my number. The only thing I know about technology.
Well, no, I'm not going to send it to your actual private number. I'm going to send it to you via email is what I mean. And you just basically get it off your, because I'm pretty sure you got a Google account, right? On your phone.
Yes. Well, no, I have a
Nokia. You don't have to give your phone number to get on Discord or nothing.
Yeah, you don't have to give your phone number to get on Discord. I'm basically trying to keep it as safe as humanly
name.
possible. But like, basically what'll happen is I'll send you a link to Discord. That way you can download the app on your phone. If you actually
I have a Nokia, man.
It doesn't matter. You should be able to down. Oh well, yeah, I don't know. It depends.
No, he's got to do it on a laptop.
He's got to do it on. Oh, I'll send you a link via your email then.
Yeah, do that, bro.
Got a Nokia, man. That's my boy.
Hey, hold on.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to stave off people. Cause shit, if I didn't have the phones I have now, a nigga would have a Nokia too. No, he didn't play that song.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about.
But yeah, I'll send that to you and via email. So look for an email from me whenever I pull it up and find it.
I'm gonna see y'all on Tuesday, man. I enjoyed the discussion. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
See you, man.
All right, y'all have a blessed night. And I'm sorry I kept y'all hostage for 3 hours and a half. And y'all have a blessed night and be good. And love your family, because that might be the last time you see them motherfuckers. I don't mean to say it like that, but it's true. That may be the last time you might see the motherfuckers, though. Legit. All right, bye.